Hello, internet friends, and welcome to episode number 173 of Final Boss TV. And 172 is sort of coming out in parts if you've been following the stuff from BlizzCon on YouTube. So it's going to be a little bit confusing. The rest of my BlizzCon stuff should be out like today, later today. But today is the post-BlizzCon special. And my name, of course, is Adam K, aka Bay, the annual post-BlizzCon special. We had the pre-BlizzCon special just before BlizzCon on the 21st of October. And of course, if you have missed that episode, that was with Cox and Krendor, that is on the YouTube channel. Of course, you can find that in the audio-only versions on the website or Google Play Music or wherever else you divulge and eat up your audio-only stuff. But today, of course, I have to start out the show and give a huge thank you to the folks over at Wowhead for helping make this silly show possible. And if you don't know what Wowhead is, of course, it's the fantastic resource where you can always find all the latest up-to-date, literally everything about World of Warcraft, patch changes, class encounter guides, all the wonderful spoiler bits the internet can't get enough of, and of course, there are multiple posts about everything from the BlizzCon 2018 wrap-up in case you've missed anything. And I also hosted a panel at the Wowhead party this year. So if you were not actually able to attend that function physically, there will be a video of that panel. I sat down with Rignaros and Roger Brown and Nagura talking about Mythic Raiding. So that'll be on my YouTube later this week. I gotta splice it together with their footage and my footage and mush that all. So that'll be coming out very soon. But there were some pretty good zingers from that panel. But of course, I also would not be sitting here without some very special nerds that I have to extend my appreciation for supporting the show, the stream, and everything in between. And those, of course, would be these lovely nerds, my credits and above tier patrons, which without them, it would be a lot less pretty art on this show. So thank you very much to all my executive and assistant producers that are making this show possible. And of course, if you would like more of this show, like behind-the-scenes podcasts, notes, and whatever else, horribly belated birthday cards that I write something incredibly sappy and nerdy on, then you can go check out the show's Patreon page. The notes are already up for this show. If you want more of the BTS show from last week, you can check that out. There are like 50-something almost other podcasts and shows. And of course, more on the horizon when all the shows come out. There'll be a BTS after show. Once we're done here, we'll sit down with the guys and just shoot the crap for a little bit and talk about stuff. So that'll be over on the Patreon page. And there's actually going to be one question answered from Ian Hazakostas on Patreon that I got at the open Q&A. That's just kind of silly. So that's coming out there for you guys. But that, of course, is almost all the bookkeeping. Just want to let you guys know we have upcoming shows are going to be the State of X, Tanking, Healing, Range DPS, Melee DPS, and the year-end special with Brutal, Taliesin, and Evitel at the end of this year. But today's show is with these guys. Who? Let me just go over to the 4 camera. How about, hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi.
Just.
Hey, your hair in full screen is so much better than on Discord, mate. Like, wow.
What is... Mike, what do you... Hi. Mike, what are you doing?
Hi.
What is... Is that your normal hand?
My safety glove.
Baby.
I need it for podcasts.
Wait, why? Why do you...
It prevents toxicity. Stop.
Has it worked so far?
Stop. Yeah? Every time I know the moment's coming, I have to stop.
Is it full of lotion, though? Keep that hand all nice and baby fresh.
No, aloe vera, actually, but thank you for
aloe
asking.
vera. Oh.
I need to keep the tenderness.
Okay.
It's my mouse hand.
Oh, that was terrible. You used that one before as well.
Yeah.
That just rolled off way too easy.
Oh,
I haven't,
gosh.
actually. That's the first time. You were here for the first one.
And there's the other beautiful guy. There he is. Hi, Nobbel. Do you
Hi.
have a weird hand you want to wave at chat with?
Look, hi. Just my regular hands. I mean, I got per usual. I got my my pitcher ready to go. So you know, there's that.
Oh God, what do you always
But I don't have a Mickey Mouse. Because I'm a big drinker. Okay, I'm a big boy.
What is in that? This is like a thing.
Lemonade. Okay.
Buy a glass, dude.
This is
Get a glass.
this is a thing on almost every show you come on, and you have this giant. Like I have my water bottle off camera here, and my glass and my Pandaren Brewmaster cozy from BlizzCon 2013 or something.
Buy now
Exactly.
and use discount code FinalBossTV. Yeah, okay.
No,
Yeah?
you can't.
Where can we get this merch at Final Boss TV?
This is not my merch. This is BlizzCon. This is BlizzCon stuff. It's a MacGuffin. But Nobbel always has this like actual pitcher.
Yeah.
I know a man who used a vase once out of desperation, just threw the flowers out of it and poured his drink in.
And why shouldn't they? It's still a
Why
container.
shouldn't
It still delivers the liquid to your mouth. It's fine.
I would have washed it. It had soil in there.
Oh,
saying,
you've
I would
left that
watch it.
part out. Okay.
Yeah, he literally threw the flowers on the floor and just poured his drink in there.
Gross.
Sounds like good night.
Yes, very gross.
Super
gross.
I don't even know. I mean, this is the opening banter part, but if you guys have anything that you need to like want to plug or shout out or throw out there, then Nobbel, going back to you. What do you have anything you want to open with?
No, I'm just happy to be here.
Okay.
Hi. Is this our 4th or 5th year in a row? Or is
Oh
it
my
3?
gosh. Is this
Many.
this is our
Many
4th
years,
year in a
right?
row, I think, chat? I mean,
We've been doing this for a while, man.
This is very so pre-BlizzCon is always like 2 or 3 different guests, and then now if we ever don't have a post-BlizzCon show with the 3 of us, the space-time continuum will explode.
Oh, I feel committed now.
Oh, I mean, I hope so.
That feels like an obligation.
Is it? It's like we hang out maybe like a dozen-ish hours a year, right? Oh, obligation.
In
This is
person.
some sweet
We've
hours.
met
though.
each other more in the last couple of years than ever before.
Well, hopefully. I mean, PreachCon again. I'm definitely there. Sign me up. Bells
I mean,
on.
you took me on a date, Bay. Let's not forget.
when you
took
were
me on a...
when you
when
were
I
in
was
my
in
neck of the
Team
woods.
America. Yeah, when
Mhm.
I was in Team America, you took me out on a date. You took my wife on a date.
I did.
And you took my children out. He took us to medieval times.
Okay, thank you. You were making it really awkward.
No, we brought the British, which I don't think you were ready for.
I mean,
It got loud.
no, it did get loud, but it was awesome.
It did.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. What exactly?
You didn't get to come, Nobbel. Very sad.
I know.
I had a BlizzCon tour or Blizzard tour with Base, so you know I'm not jealous at all.
That is correct. I did hook you guys up with that one the first time you came out. You're totally right.
I didn't get that. Wow.
No, you didn't. Haha. You
Well,
just went to the medieval times where everybody else goes, you know.
Where you're
I
not
mean-
allowed spoons, but they do have Coca-Cola
Wait.
for immersion purposes.
Yeah.
It's like the RL Allied races.
Oh, come on. Damn it.
I need to get that T-shirt by the way. For the man is amazing.
That's
For
pretty
a man,
good.
check
Where
it,
can
check
you
it,
buy
check it.
his T-shirts? Where?
The source of all knowledge.
See, I'm not even hawking my own stuff today. I'm just wearing a nice grayish collared shirt for you guys. And then Mike's like, nah, shill.
Plus, it's the only clothes I own because I don't buy any.
You own your own. You
I only have my own merchandise. That's it.
I'm not even, respect.
Yeah.
See, that's why I brought Base shirt to your convention because I also don't own clothes. I just get
Yeah.
stuff sent to me. It's like, wear this, please. I
Yeah.
need a new one, Bay. Mine
Yes,
is
you
all
do.
washed up, man.
Well, hey, if you want this shirt right here, we have the
Speaking
new
of shirts,
we have the new
Speaking of
Azurite
shilling.
Days shirt. This is new Fabelina art. You want this one? You're gonna wait for the stream delay. You want this one though, right, Nobbel? The 4 square face-off one. The
I want all of them, to
inspired.
be honest.
Yeah.
There was a transition.
There
Yeah, just put a
was.
beautiful flow.
Sad.
Yeah. Hey, I'm prepared. It's almost like I've been running the show for like 5 years. All right, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I gotta send you the Bayface shirt, Nobbel.
Bayface shirt, yeah.
The all over, I'll be your Bayface
Oh,
shirt.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
I will wear the crap out of that.
it pairs really well with like casual formal, so like jeans, suit jacket, and then the Bayface shirt underneath, just so it peeks out a little bit of your
I
suit jacket.
regularly
just-
see Nobbel. Like every time I meet him, I'm like, "You're so dressed up."
Is
so
he though?
overdressed.
No, I have to
Oh
turn
my
this
god,
off.
no, that outfit. So
Yeah.
casual.
Chat needs to see this. Just so you want chat. You want to see Nobbel wearing this? Wait, why did that not? Hold on. No, wait.
You're not allowed to show nudes on Twitch, you know that, right?
Oh, am I
Is that
not?
true? Because I'm in trouble.
Mm.
There, this. It's not nude. It's just my face, all over the shirt, front and back. It's a glorious abomination. It's so good.
It's like an Hawaiian shirt. I would wear that, man.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
basically. Yeah.
That's a bit extreme, that Bay.
What? Come on.
It's a bit heavy, that.
Yeah. Why not? It's good.
That's a bit much, that one.
You sure?
Yeah.
So I'm getting hooked up for a free shirt, yeah?
I mean, yeah. I'll send it to you for free if you wear it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. That's how this works, right? Like if Mike sent me 4 men's shirts, I'd wear them on stream. I don't. Yeah, sure.
Same though.
Yeah.
He
I'll
was
send
so
you this
angry
one.
that I was wearing your shirt at his convention. I was like, just
Wait.
send me shirts. I'll wear it.
Wait, send me the one you're currently wearing. Don't wash it. Just send me that one.
Yeah, it's covered in a natural musk.
Yeah, please do. Just put it in a Ziploc bag and send it to me.
That's gross.
Ah.
But I'll do it.
So then I guess what the hoot nanny have you two been up to? We've got plenty to talk about BlizzCon and everything else related to that shortly, and we'll touch on the parts of it a little bit. But I want to know what your content creation flow has been like for you nerds recently. Any upcoming projects you'd like to share a hint at? Mike, when's the next Legacy video?
Very soon. That's very close, actually. I've got a couple of projects. I've recruited from a college.
Oh,
I've got 5 people who have never played World of Warcraft before, and they're going to.
What?
Yeah, I thought this would, because I don't know. We always guess at how people treat the game for the first time, so I thought we'd do a study. Why not? So we're going to get a couple of guys, and I mean, I can't control them, but the 2 of them aren't allowed to look at guides and stuff. I just want them to have a raw experience, and the other 3 are allowed to use any resources they want to play the game. And see how it comes out. So we've been to the local college and we've been doing, we've been checking people. So we had to do like a questionnaire. So it was like, do you play video games? Which games do you like? Do you own a PC? And we're trying to hush around the idea that you're going to be playing WoW while finding out that they've never played it before and they have the resources to produce what we want. So we're going to be looking at that. In other stuff though, it's been outside of content creation, it's been the proudest month that I've had so far, because we had our first wedding of people who met through our community.
yeah.
And I went to that wedding. And we also had our first baby born from people who met in our community. Met at PreachCon. Like, these people met together and got together, and that's been wonderful. Like, having that happen is on a totally different level than anything I can make. So that's been amazing. So I was in Holland for that.
That's
and
awesome.
we're going to see the baby soonish, I believe, because it's in the UK.
I still
So that's what I'm
can't.
doing.
I don't want to like ruin the moment, but people have procreated because of you now.
Lots. Yeah, that's actually a way higher number. That's a way higher number. And there have been other babies, but they didn't meet through us. Like a lot of babies. So there have been a lot. Don't put your hand up, Nobbel. Yes, but there has been much coupling occurring via the community. But this is the first regulation stuff I can comment on.
Okay. Awesome. Nobbel, how about you?
I'm not.
Oh, wait. I'm not going to cut Mike off. What?
Nothing.
Oh.
Game on.
Well, I don't get any babies thanks to Mike. That's not happening. No. Thankfully. I mean, dodge that bullet, you know. Oh, there's stories I could tell. But content-wise, like we've had BlizzCon, of course. Really enjoyed testing out Classic. And story-wise, video-wise, I mean, you just keep on trucking, man. The weekly lore videos are still going out. For tonight, I'm gonna be talking about a couple of stories that I would love to see them explore further. Like, what can they still work with?
Mm-hmm.
Week after that, I want to deep dive a little bit more on what they presented for 8.2. Like, spoiler, Nashatat and mecha zones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I got the story of the Barons planned because we got the classic experience of Barons, so I kind of wanted to tell the story there. Camp Tarajo, all the good stuff. And after that, we're working towards the end of the year, man. Working towards the next patch. We'll see what's going to bring. No babies, though. I didn't get anybody to, procreate or marry or no, not yet.
Oh.
If you're out there and if you watch my lore video while doing, let me know.
You just need NobbleCon, and everybody will get nobbled.
Nobcon, yes.
Nobcon, yeah.
Nobcon. I wasn't directly involved. I just created the environment.
No, surely not.
But yeah, that's what we've been doing. It's been good.
What are you planning for the rest of the year, though, with the content and whatnot?
I can't go further into it, but all I can say that currently, to my right, there is a set being built. I can say that because the Andy's left us. My longtime partner in crime has gone on to do other things. So that changes a lot of the content we made, like the web show and things like that, because that was always the duo content.
Right.
So I am changing that format to involve a lot more of the audience and things like that. So there's things going on to make that happen. But obviously being like half the team in terms of content creation gone has put a lot more work onto me temporarily. So time is a big factor for me right now in trying to get everything done. So yeah, it's getting there, but it's like find 10 minutes here, find 10 minutes there, make a legacy at the same time, make sure you stream every day. I get a YouTube video out every day while editing and finishing this stuff. So there's a lot going on right now. It
I'm
seems
surprised
slow
to
though.
hear that you're still doing the legacy videos, because I thought Andy always edited.
No, Andy did 2 of them. I did everything else.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, happy to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't planning on getting anybody new on the show, right?
No, we are. I can't do what I do without somebody else at this point.
Oh, you are getting. Okay.
Yeah, but Andy was the only person I trusted with a key to my home where my children sleep.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we'll be moving first, then bringing somebody outside in. So that's the order switch of events, because we were moving out of here around about nowish, but in a way it was kind of like lucky we didn't commit to anything, because we were getting quite a large space to obviously get me and Andy and other people in the future. So we need a slightly smaller space now, so that kind of worked out in a horrible way. But that's the plan, because I'm not bringing anybody else in to be in the house all the time. That would be crazy.
Nobbel just moved to Manchester.
Yeah, of course. Let me just get editing going.
No friends anymore. It's too hard. It's too hard. If anything,
he called me friends. Oh no.
I know.
Yeah.
The breakup's too tough, man. It's too personal.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
There's like no drama there, but it's still like, your best friend's not here every day. Like, oh god, what a killer.
Yeah. So I'm gonna shift gears completely from all of that, because I think we have to like baseline the upcoming topics with sort of the right now, because we'll have plenty to talk about. But after the opening silliness, just take a bit of the internet edge off this topic. I presented the same sort of question to Cox and Krendor. So again, you can go see what they said about the same thing previous episode. But the current state of Battle for Azeroth. We all play the game a little bit differently, but how do each of you feel about the current expansion, Blizzard's direction they're in right now? Because a whole lot of stuff is on the horizon. But I mean, Nobbel, what's your take on BFA right now? Just give me your synopses, your elevator pitch. What do you got?
I'll have to keep it short, yeah. Me personally, I'm quite enjoying Battle for Azeroth, mainly because I'm focusing on Mythic and raiding right now. But at the same hand, I can understand the feedback that is given. I think 2 of the major pieces that were added to the game, as in Island Expeditions and Warfronts, in combination with the Azerite as being your reward system, that fell short. And a lot of people feel like Battle for Azeroth is Legion 2.0, only worse because we now have the Azerite system in place. And I agree with that. I felt with the artifacts, you had a more linear path progression, like you knew what you were getting into. Therefore, all the other little pieces fell into place. Like if I did this, I would get artifact power. Therefore, I become more powerful. And now with Azerite, I just don't care. With Azerite, it's like I can get a piece of gear that can give me an upgrade, but I don't care about the upgrade. So a lot of reasonings behind doing certain things in the game, they fall away. But for me, I'm enjoying the crap out of Uldir. I think that the Mythic Plus dungeons are really, really fun. And for some reason, the leveling bug has cut me again. When they added the 2k gold for Emissary quest, I was like, okay, I'm just going to add a couple of extra max level characters to get some easy gold with that. The upcoming Heritage armor got me leveling again, so that's been fun for me. But I definitely understand the feedback that people have been given. Yeah.
That's an interesting one, that the expect the emissary bump to sort of impact leveling, which is an interesting thing to hear about. So that's totally, I mean, I only have my 2 characters, and I don't even know if I'm going to level my next one until maybe like Christmas time. So that's different for me, but that's
well, to be fair, it's like a personal mindset, because if you go out and farm her, you'll get more money. But for me, it's like a reason to level up a character as well as easy gold making. Like the other day, it was Stratholme, so it's like 10 minutes and you're done with your emissary quest. Do that across 10 characters, easy 20k gold.
Yeah.
So
what was
you don't want to
that?
make logo.
What was that, Mike?
Nothing.
Well, you're up. What do you think of BFA? Do you have similar or? This is like a weird can of worms with you and I. So
I'm not a big fan of BFA in many ways. I went a bit more hardcore this time around in terms of the raiding. I enjoyed Mythical Day for the most part. I think it had some ups and downs, but overall it was pretty fun. And it's I'm just so disappointed in the rest of the game. Like once I killed Mythic Gahoon, it was a while ago now, but the next day I didn't log in for like 4 days. I couldn't think of any reason to log into the game, and that really made me sad. And now we had performance reviews in the guild, and the feedback I got was just make sure you keep your neck up to date, because obviously the next raid's looking, and I want to point this out, the next raid looks exceptionally fun.
Yeah,
really good. It's some of the most creative stuff we've seen in years is in that raid. It's a bit broken right now, but that's happens. But logging in to do world quests and AP farm and things like that is just, that's a drag. And I'm finding it very difficult to motivate myself to do that. I tend to do like a checklist. It feels like a checklist. That's the only issue I have with BFA. Everything feels like a checklist. It's also streamlined and everything's compartmentalized. You've got to do your islands, then you got to do that. And then you can tick it off and go and do other things, which I know some people really like, but I want to play WoW a lot more. I genuinely do. I want to play WoW a lot more, but I'm finding content to create. Like I'm doing a series called the TDP, where people are now suggesting things they'd like to see and ways I can help them, because that's what I want to do. We're seeing a lot of problems in Mythic Plus scene right now, at least vocally. Whether or not it's real and it's substantial, it's hard to tell. But vocally is pretty big, so I'm focusing on that to try and increase my enjoyment of BFA. Personally, not so much.
Yeah, I go back and forth on the certain things that the amount of stuff you can or could do is obviously there. It's like the whole theme park nonsense, but I didn't really do a whole lot for like the 2 weeks I was gone for TwitchCon and BlizzCon, and I still managed to get another level on my necks. I lost like an array stack on my characters, the old year buff, and I was like, I'll just deal if I want to get home. Not a huge deal. So I think that's an interesting point to have almost so much just stuff you could do, but none of it feels like you really need to do it.
Yeah, I've seen this argument a lot, is there's more content in BFA than ever, which is technically true. All right. But what are you defining content as? Just things to do? Yeah, that's true. Where's the fun factor in it? Where's the enjoyable factor in it? Because I don't find Island Expeditions that fun. They look like fill the bar quests to me. And world quests, within a few days, we'd run out of mixtures and different varieties of them, and so now it's the point where we're grinding for something that's going to happen in the future. At least that's what's happening in the raid system, is like we're grinding for the next Azerite gear, not the stuff we have now, the next. And that's very hard to motivate, because that content was kind of recycled within the first few days of the game. And obviously it's very difficult to be like, I'm going to log in and do this now. And comparative to Legion, the legendary acquisition was terrible. No one denies that, but it masked what you were doing with world quests and things, because you were chasing the legendary, and this is how you got it, rather than just getting this kind of arbitrary Apex Crystal Azerite power thing that just makes a neck number go up. So that's a struggle for me. I'm not finding it that fun outside of the few hours that I raid. That's my problem with it.
Well, that's fair. I think, and I'll bounce back to this in a topic when we get into the BlizzCon stuff, because I think that Blizzard obviously have taken note to that, and we all know the whole, well, it came out, it was too early, and it was in beta for 5 months, and Legion was in beta for 7, and they had all this stuff more, whatever. But the amount of stuff at the What Next panel was incredible, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because I have a little bit of spotlight I want to show on this guy down here. because the follow-up I had to this note was that, Mike, are you aware that our little Noblet down here in this corner, this little guy, is, we had a talk before I went to BlizzCon, and he's been investing way more than he has been recently in sort of the min-maxy nature of World of Warcraft.
Are you simming? Have you become an obsessive
I've
simmer?
been simming since the Legion, man. Come on now.
But
dark times.
But he was asking me, how do you craft a? Let me read this off my notes here to make sure I pronounce this right. It's pronounced a BIS list. I don't know what that is exactly. Do you?
It's that thing that used to exist.
Do you know?
Apparently so. Apparently there's no longer a thing as a biz list.
Not really. No. You can have kind of.
All I wanted was a list that told me, like, you need to go to King's Rest and you'll get, like, an upgrade and stuff. And apparently there's no longer a thing.
Wouldn't that be nice, Nobbel? Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be very nice. That would give me something to do.
Very nice. That would be very, very nice.
But
what you're doing there is you're killing the game. I want you to Our better system is to just pull the lever on the casino machine.
Yeah, and just randomize it. It's bizarre. It really, really is.
You're trying to add a goal to the game, which is, backwards thinking. Just want to let you know.
I would like to reach a carrot, that's somewhat feasible to accomplish.
Not anymore, dude.
What I'm wondering now is, like, it's incubating right now. It's slowly happening. That what if, like, another expansion from now, Nobbel is just the perfect version of Preach because he knows all the lore and is good at the game.
Well, are you rating, did you say? What are you rating?
Only heroic. It's nothing major or something, but I do enjoy
heroic.
No, I do enjoy Goon, but it's like my guild team, I don't think we will ever reach for the stars like that. Because after killing Goon,
it's a massive...
Yeah, but after killing Goon like 5 or 10 times, people still forget to turn around when he does his gaze thing, and they still get hit by orbs. So the team base isn't there, but it's a lot of fun to get done. And I think that's also part of the reason why I still enjoy Uldir. Because it's not done yet. Like, we were just moving into poking Mother and getting further than that. So that's still something to reach for. But yeah, it's been fun, really, getting into Uldir and raiding again. I've been raiding 3 nights a week now. It's great.
Oh my god.
It is. It's such a fun experience as well. What was the biggest challenge you overcame? Did you get some nerd cheers? Because that's the feeling I like when you overcome that challenge.
Zool for us was a pain in the ass to get done for some reason, and then Mithrax fell over with 2 tries, and then it was Gahoon. And Gahoon we spent we spent quite a few nights on Gahoon, especially because we also have people that do the orb carrying, and they couldn't make it every night, so we had to switch that around. And just Gahoon is when you bring in new people, that is when you notice, like, oh, there are new people in the raid, and we all gotta find our little spot to fight in, right? Yeah,
Mythic's the same. You bring in, because we've brought in new people every week from Mythic Farm, and it's very different because it's not a fight you can pick up in like 10 minutes. It's not. It's just not one of those things. Well, did you like when the heroic's dead now? I assume, right?
Yeah.
Was that like a big moment when you saw that like percentage?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah,
that's the thing I always try and encourage my viewers to fight for. Like, if once you have that moment, that's when you know this is why people do this. It's so much better than queuable content, for example.
The first kill of heroic Gahoon during like week 1, I know Mike might mirror this with me, that actually felt like the first time I've had like a Bracken Spore feel, where you were just like fighting it, slowly dying, and then you get the kill. Like, it was right there, and it was like, that was a well put together boss.
Yeah, it had a reasonable step up. It wasn't like Blackhand, which was or Archimond. I mean, there is still a jump. People are killing Talok or Mother before they kill heroic Gahoon. Right. They're still doing that, but it was a decent step up. And that last phase, I really like the emphasis this time round in Uldir specifically about the last phase being so much more important and longer. So it's like a real war of attrition towards the end, certainly in the early kills. I mean, even fights like Zekvoz feel like that, where people are being mind controlled and you're killing them off, and your raid is slowly dwindling away. While the boss's HP is only that much, but you're down to like X amount of players, and you really are up against it. And certainly Mythic Gahoon's the same, because the hardest part of the fight is like the last 5%. That's the most difficult element of the fight. And it's so stressful because there's so many things going on at the same time. And you know your raid is about to die at any point. And you've got to keep pushing and focus and stay calm. And that, you've got all that going on across the player base. And then when it actually falls over, you're like, oh, that's so good. That is a good feel.
There's like that tipping point. You can watch like any kill video in the raid frames. I talk about this with Method on their World First show, is that you get like 5 stacks of the debuff. You're like, all right, 6, okay, 7, and you basically have like 8 seconds to kill a boss because everyone just goes, oh, we're all dying. So
yeah,
have just like this
on the
knob.
kill, I have a moment where I'm diving out of mutated thingies on the floor. I have to turn for a gaze and also reach a blood thing. And at the same time, my dude's going, innovate me, man. And I'm like, where are you on the raid frames? Me the 5th hand to come in and control me at the same time. And I'm like, I've got you, bro. I've got you. Just keep us alive for a few more seconds and we'll make it. We'll cross this line. But that's why I love getting people into that environment. That's exactly what I want other people to experience as well.
Well, and Uldir has a nice level of individual responsibility as well. If you go to the Zakfos fight, where you got like the beams and the ads and the Herald of Nazaf one.
Yep.
Like if somebody doesn't move in time at a beam, then you're effed. If somebody doesn't drop a cloud outside the raid, then you're effed. And I really liked how we had to get that into the raid. But now with the feeling of you're not really enjoying Battle for Azeroth, then how is that reflecting on your Mythic raid progression? Are you still focusing on that though? Or is it also difficult to keep everybody invested in it?
No, I mean, we're basically raid loggers at this point across the guild. We've been farming for a while. We're farming on multiple characters. We're clearing Mythic on multiple characters. And we're just prepared. What our guild is now is basically going on the PTR, doing the raid testing. What classes are going to be really good here? Basically, this is a reroll period for many people in our guild. This is what we're doing. It's like, well, okay, which characters can we drop? Which characters do we need to get ready? Do we think we're taking educated guesses? This is what we might need, because obviously class stacking has been one of the biggest kind of bummers in Uldir, certainly at the Mythic level. Class stacking has been really relevant. So we need to be ready that they might do that again. So we might look at fights where it's like, we really need like 4 rogues. We really need 5 warlocks or whatever it might be. And also mixed in with those classes, not the classes I just mentioned, but some people not enjoying those classes, even though they're very useful. So some people are like, yes, I have this class. I kind of don't want to play it anymore. If somebody else wants to pick up and carry on from there, that would be great, because I would rather play something I enjoy a lot more. But that's what our guild's focus is right now, is preparing for the next raid team. And what do we need to do to be in a strongest position for that? Because we got a decent kill. It was like World 70th or something like that. But we should have done much better. We actually got hung up on Fetid Devourer. Stupidly, we couldn't really figure out why. Yeah, we were like this. We were genuinely, arguments were breaking out because it's like, why is this not dead? Like, it makes no sense. We don't understand how this isn't dead. And being confused by it, because we had a great setup for it. People were playing relatively well, and it just wasn't dying. And we were there for about 3 days, which in that, at the topper end, 3 days is a long time to lose on one boss.
I was there for 5, so I feel you on that one.
Yeah, but regularly, I do log into my guild. There's 3 people online. That's about it. I get obviously people trying to get into the guild whispering, "Where is the officers?" And I'm like, they won't be here till Wednesday. Like, wait till Wednesday, and then you'll see them then, or they'll be on at some weird time or something like that. Because there's not much to do. There's a couple of guys who like Mythic Plus, but alts are a bit of a pain as well, because you're ending up back in the World Quest system very quickly. Like, I love BFA leveling. I think BFA leveling is really cool. I have fun with it all the time, but it's off-putting to know what waits for you at the end. It's like, well, you're probably gonna have to get into the World Quest system and start grinding AP again. You can't even be bothered to do that on your main character. Then it all kind of falls down.
So what do you feel is a major difference compared to Legion then?
In terms of what?
In terms of endgame, entertaining yourself besides raiding?
For me, I didn't mind the endgame too much. And I think the legendaries are a big part of this. Like, I wanted to level alts to play around with their legendaries. And we always had fun, like, certainly as a streamer, is like, I did Mythic Plus 10 or 15 or whichever it was at the time on every character, like 10 times in a week, just so we could have that really fun moment on a Wednesday when we open all the boxes. We did that a few times because it was like rolling the dice and having fun with it. And, that was the enjoyable part of it. There was an incentive to go and do that. I don't feel that this time. I feel like I just capped a Demon Hunter for fun, because they're so fun to level. Like, a Demon Hunter is incredibly fun to level. It's a breeze as well. And I picked up gear within the first 20 minutes that I couldn't use because it was Azerite gear. And it was just so off-putting. It's like, well, I really do need to kind of go out and farm Azerite on this character. And I was like, I'll turn that off. I'll rather play something else.
No. The Azerite system is good and bad, I think. I mean, I'll take that over. You actually bring up legendaries. I would take it over legendaries because that was the biggest issue with having interbalance with your own character. If you're best like 2 or 3 legendaries, like you're 9th to get,
well, I went back and checked because I agreed. Like I made video. I went back. We actually went back and looked at the start of Legion and my video content. What were the problems? Because we could do that now. We can historically look back at what the issues I thought were. So on Legion, it was like legendary acquisition was a big problem in the early game because I got to see the boots, Norgnon's Foresight, and they were useless to me. That was my first legendary. I had to bank it because I was a fire mage. They were useless to me, and that was really sad because that was like my first one for the raid. But also we noticed that around now was when I actually got my best legendaries, and I was kind of done with the system then in terms of needing something until the end of the expansion. Like it was done at that point. And therefore, for the remainder of the expansion, it was just collecting extras to finish the sets, prepare for different specs, things like that. So the difference is with Azerite is this is going to be ongoing forever throughout the expansion, whereas the legendary system had a cutoff point where you had the good ones. It might have taken you longer to get there for sure. And I'm not defending the acquisition system because it was awful. It was RNG. You could get screwed over multiple times, but at some point it was done. You had the ones you wanted. And then they brought new ones in, but often they weren't better than the ones you already had. That was the case quite a few times. So that's where the system kind of turned into a less in-your-face system. Whereas now I can, my guild Discord, it's like, okay, these are the Azerite levels for the next raid. This is what we need to get. For some reason, the Mythic gear still has higher Azerite levels, which I find completely arbitrary. It doesn't make sense to me at all. It's like, if you're a Mythic raider, you should farm more. It's like, why? Why exactly is that? So, so it's like, right, you've got to get like 38 or 40 something, get to it. Yeah. And that's a really like, ugh.
I think that's a big part of it because you're never done with your Azerite trades, right? Because it scales to the level of your necklace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, so whatever gear you get next, you will always have to go for more, rather than an artifact weapon that was just stationary and you had a cutoff point, as you mentioned also with the legendaries. Yeah, okay.
I mean, even
and with the artifact weapons, right? Because you got your good ones earlier, right? You always went for the best artifact traits you could get. And then later on, when the levels started becoming a big grind, is you were always grinding like secondary, they were bonuses still, regardless. They're still bonuses, but they're nowhere near as important as the ones you'd already got. Right. And so you could feel a little better about skipping a few days. It was okay because the grind's huge. It's not that big of a deal. And again, acquisition was also masked. And also we have to remember is in Legion, AP came from everywhere. That was the design intention of AP, or that you get from any content you want to do. So if you want to do Mythic Plus with your friends in a tier that isn't relevant to you, it doesn't matter. You'll still get a bonus of AP at the end, plus a chance at a legendary. You had all these things. It'd be if they switched it to make, AP comes from this place, blah, blah, blah comes from here, blah, blah, blah comes from here. And you've got to do all these little pieces. Otherwise, you're missing out on an element, which is another change that I think is annoying. It's just like, I don't really like island adventures, but you're kind of forcing me to do them as a raider. You know what I mean? Instead of I would choose to do dungeons. I would choose to do this. I find that more enjoyable. When they swapped that around, I think they lost sight of what AP was originally designed to do. It was a bonus, an incentive, and a resource you should get for content you enjoy, even if it's not a gear reward. Right? I want to go here. I'm not going to get any gear from it. Titanforge. But I'll still get AP as a guarantee. And that's good, because I'm still progressing my character in a different way.
Yep, true. I remember testing Island Expeditions with you and Ghosty on the beta as well.
And they were better, right?
Yeah, and I remember the feeling of this is going to get stale real quick. And it ended up exactly as that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we have the finished products right now. Sorry, though.
No, 8.1. I mean, we'll definitely. I think the Island Adventure thing is definitely a sticking point. But yeah, based on what we've got from my dev interview and, of course, the What's Next panel, there's definitely something coming for that. But I want to get into BlizzCon stuff now because we're sort of eeping towards BlizzCon stuff specifically. And I sort of have to open this can of worms right off the bat, even though each of us have had our own little experience with this or our history with this or osmosing from your communities, your chat, your Twitters, whatever. So what are your thoughts on classic World of Warcraft? Or, as it's going to be just, I think, called classic within our little cycle, because saying the whole thing is kind of silly, but I streamed it. There's 90 minutes or so of me, the archive from my BlizzCon stream, and I played a enhancement shaman, and I played a druid, which was kind of like a balanced, I don't know, you only level 15, 16. But Mike, I know you have done a whole bunch of demo testing up to like level 20, like racing the clock basically to figure this stuff out, how it all feels. And I listened to that video today, doing my research. I was doing chores in the house, listened to that video. So what's your over under on classic right now?
It's undeniable there are elements that are far better. It's undeniable in my mind. There are elements of classic that are better than the modern game. There are also elements that are considerably worse.
Yeah.
So it's not, I know everyone wants it to be black and white, but for me, it's not. But I do consider it a totally separate MMO. And based on what I see, you can't really play both unless you have an insane amount of free time in your life. And you should probably get something else going on, because the time commitment required for classic is enormous. And there's a lot of commitment. If you're doing something with a goal in BFA, there's a lot of commitment there as well. So it will divide the community in some respects, but that's not a bad thing particularly. That means people who prefer the classic style will go over there. The people who prefer BFA stuff will go over there, and they can develop independently, whatever the classic. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a hell of a lot. I PvP'd for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
with
wonder why.
Nobbel specifically. I had a duel with Nobbel for 15 minutes, and I didn't know it was Nobbel until after the duel had finished, because I thought I was being trolled so hard that
I was laughing so hard.
I can't remember. I know he was on a priest. I'm not sure what class I was playing, because I played every class.
You were on your druid bear, and I
was on my bear druid.
feared you. I was drinking mid-duel, and we were going.
We were drinking. We ate back to full health multiple times. But it was still fun. You know, as silly as it is, it was still really fun. But it opened my eyes to a lot of things. I'd loved having the talent tree back, and I've been a staunch supporter of the new talent system. I love the new talent system, but I'm not denying having that talent tree back, looking the path and direction I was going to go with the character, having to generally make choices while I was low. It's like, okay, I could go this way, but that delays getting my endpoint talent by like 5 levels. Yeah. But I really want these things. Do I want to do that and then have a longer grind later to get, say, Mortal Strikes? I leveled my warrior. And I found myself, because there's a lot of travel time in Classic, obviously, because there's no mounts. You're running everywhere.
And you run slower, too. I forgot that point, that movement speed in Classic is just slower than movement speed in now.
Yeah, which gave 2 different impressions again. Like, on the one side of it, I remembered so clearly the various areas of Classic that I was in, and it hit me. It's like, because I spent so much more time here exploring, right. Reading the quest text and knowing that where I need to go is kind of east somewhere, and going off and looking and taking in the environment. That instead of having like a point on a marker, go from here to here on a mount, there are places in BFA that I'm like, I know it's around here somewhere, but if I look, I'll probably open the map every few seconds or something just to check I'm going in the right way. But in Classic, it was more of a case of it's around here somewhere, and then you might get into little individual skirmishes along the way too. And it built a lot of. I have more memories of Classic leveling from 15 to 19 than I do of a lot of my BFA leveling, because it was just like, how fast can I get through this content, which is what a lot of leveling is now. That felt like I was playing a role-playing game. There's no denying that. I felt like I was on an adventure. I even had the point where I need to go back I made a list when I go back to town, because that's a big hassle, because you've got to travel all the way back and then travel all the way to your next area. Yep. So when you go out to do something, you need to make sure you're prepared. You've got the resources you need. You've got the tools you need. You've got the bag space you need to go out on for the next couple of hours without having access to vendors, without stopping in a town, without being able to do anything quickly. So you felt like you were kitting up for an adventure, and that was cool. I found that really enjoyable. On the bad side of it, though, the gameplay is awful, generally. I think so. It's so slow. It's painfully slow. Much of the time, you're just auto-attacking. It does get better, but not a huge amount. I think that's some people are exaggerating that heavily, how much better it gets, but it does get better. you're auto-attacking for a huge amount of time, just waiting for things to happen. You're stopping, you're eating, you're drinking, you're pulling 2 mobs, you're going to die, and that's mainly because you can't do anything. You know, you're just kind of stuck with no abilities to press.
Yeah.
Gameplay-wise, I was getting a little bored of waiting for things to drop and things, because basically Classic's just a grind. That's all it is to level up. It's just a grind with quests kind of overlaid, but really they're there to keep you grinding for a long time. So that element I didn't particularly enjoy.
Right.
I've got to say, I didn't particularly enjoy that. And some classes just play like trash until they hit a certain point. I did a video of because Blizzard predicts that most people will try Classic because it's going to be the new novelty shiny thing, and then they'll probably disappear relatively quickly once they actually settle into it. So I did a video which is these are the classes that will get you over that level 20 hump. They're better to play early level than some others. Like a Paladin was my clear worst. It was so bad. It was unreal how bad that is to play at low level.
Yeah.
And I remember I did it after stream. I played it a bit on stream, and then I went back afterwards and played it a bit more. I was like, God, this thing is the worst. But I know the feedback was, I am a holy warrior, and I will put up with this pain and misery because I want my end game Paladin. And that's great. I have no issue with that at all. If you're committed to it, go for it. But there's no denying that it's, whoo, baby, that is something else to play in them low levels.
I'm on the same page with you about the talent system to a degree. I think there's a happy medium between the incremental talent growth and the big talents we have now. So I actually have been saying this for quite a while now before I toss the same question over to Nobbel, that I actually am looking forward to and anticipating that this is the last expansion of this current talent system, and we're getting a completely new character customization talent system with all their knowledge of the old trees, the new trees, Azurite traits, artifact stuff, legendary, all this stuff. They're going to be doing it all for the next expansion after BFA is done. I think that's one of the biggest things that they probably osmosed, from what I can gather, on the dev team. So I'm looking forward to that as being a huge feature. I could be totally wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so. From what I can tell after some feedback I've done on some more controversial subjects, which we do cover, it seems to me like a quite a large population, but again, I'm guessing, because we have no data, never respects. They're finding the best talent setup from IC Veins or from a stream or Wowhead.
Of course.
And that's it from the start of BFA start of Legion until the end. They never respec. And I found this out heavily when I was talking to Tomes and the restrictions they were putting on having to respec your character, because I respec so often. Each character I respec so often. I play 4 different full specs that then need talent adjustments alongside them every week in raiding alone. A few hours. But then people were like, why would it matter to respec? Because they never respec ever. So whether that's a case of the talent system's not doing its jobs because people don't care about the talent system, they take whatever they think's best and then they just leave it there for all time. And maybe they can do something more with incremental upgrades, slightly more involving play. That would be a good change, because people aren't doing it.
I think there's definitely going to be a huge swing in that regard. In whatever comes forward. But Nobbel, what do you think of classic World of Warcraft?
It was a blast from the past. There are certain things that came back to me, like the sound effects when you open up the talent window and switching between aspects for your hunter and whatnot. I love that. I love that little throwback to oh yeah, this is what the game was. But I'm a very, very similar page as Mike. I don't think I'll be making it my main thing, mainly because it's going to be a huge time investment to get anything done. But then again, I also remember that it's not going to be like the classic I remember. We're going to have a whole bunch of YouTube channels exactly telling us what classes are best to level. There's going to be outside sources telling me exactly these are the talents I need. This is the rotation I need to use.
Yeah.
So the experience that I have in my mind of classic, of not knowing what was going on, and a whole player base that didn't know what was going on, that will never be there. So I don't think that they'll be able to recreate that moment. But yeah, there were definitely some elements like feeding your pet and buying ammo and talking to each other. Just talking to each other as you go through the quest, because you have the time more for it, right? You're not racing, you're not going through it as fast as you want. or as fast as you can, because the game won't allow you to do so. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I peed my pants when I was dueling Mike. It was so funny, mainly because it's so unbalanced. He couldn't get through my shield, and then on my hunter, I was just kiting him around for like 10 minutes. It was great. It was great fun. But yeah, I don't know. I can see why there is a player base that really wants to play Classic again. And for them, I think it's going to be absolutely great to have a stable server that's not going to be taken away with customer support. That's going to be great. But I really wonder how popular it's going to be in the long run. I really, really do. And then the whole sharding thing. Apparently there was sharding. I had no idea that was going on.
Yeah, my video went meme on that. It was
Yeah,
watched
well,
84,000 times.
I don't.
It's just a clip.
I don't even want to really get into that because I had a bit of a tirade the other day on my stream about it, because it's quite literally such an insignificant issue, because it's going to be there to make the initial experience so much better than what it used to be for the initial
Agreed.
bump. That's what it's
I
there
researched
for.
it. Yeah, I researched it before I opened my mouth on it and made a video. I checked out the Star Wars forums and the websites from before it got the very, it got all the attention.
Discord,
what was it?
please.
What?
You,
What
You're roboting up and base as well.
yeah, Discord
On
is
stream though.
It's just
On stream,
Discord.
you're fine, man. We are broken.
I don't know why. It's just Discord bumping for a moment. I mean, you are piping to me from across the other side of the planet, so it should be good now. I just
Are we
hiccups
alive?
for a minute. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It
Yeah. So
hiccups for a
before,
minute.
so the sharding thing happened to me, and it went everywhere. It's like, oh god, there's sharding on Classic, and I was also part of the crew that was like, in my mind, rose-tintedly, I prefer the problems to no sharding, because the social experience and stuff is a big part of why people want Classic, because they want to know that that person is going to be there when they go to see them. Because I know part of my community wants to be like the guild, the server enchanter. They want to build that trustworthy reputation. So you need to know they're going to be there. Otherwise, the whole system falls apart. And there are many other reasons for that as well.
You just invite them to a group, though, when you're talking to them, because chat channels are still shared.
Well, often it's just a case of that's not part of the community. Like, you want the social experience. And so I went back to check what Nostarius was like before it got the hit and the bump of all the players, because obviously it skyrocketed when all the attention went on it. And they were complaining about the same thing, and they were introducing sharding there. They were going to do it because it was causing so many problems. Like, a lot of people were just leaving because they couldn't log in. They can't do anything. Getting quest mobs was just insane.
Yep.
They were logging out for a couple of weeks, still not able to get in and get stuff done. So when you see that actually this is a real problem that needs to be dealt with in some way, you're either going to divide the player base into a load of different servers and lock them down, which is what they used to do in vanilla. Is they just said you can't play here anymore, right? We've locked the server, and they would lock my server periodically for like 5-6 weeks at a time, just to keep the queues to 15,000, 20,000 at a time. And ultimately, it was like, it's probably for the best. I understand, and I personally don't want it, but it's probably for the best for practical reasons. And that's where I landed on it.
It would be nice to actually be able to experience the opening of a queue rather than, just seeing a couple of frames shooting by here and there. It would be fun.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff, because for the real vanilla experience, you need to lock your frame rate at 12 FPS in the open world, right? They need to do that. They need to make sure that like 400 people are in the open world, so that when anything ever gets cast, you get kicked offline, right? Bring up all this old stuff if you want that old experience. They're not going to do. No publisher is going to make a game right now and develop it and launch it with those kind of server problems. That's just suicide in that game, right? They're not going to do that.
Would this also be a fix for people like the initial burst of popularity and then the dwindling?
Yeah,
would this also fix it, sharding? No, okay.
Well, it would scale.
Well, it depends. I mean, this is just the point I made, is that you're completely at the mercy of when Blizzard decides enough's enough and they activate and they flip the switch and turn sharding on. Because the comparison is, I found a lot of videos from 13 years ago of people trying to get to the auction house and can't, because they're lagging so hard they just end up in the moat. Every time they try and go anywhere near the auction house, they lag so hard they end up in the moat. But on the other side, Ironforge is a city full of people, and that makes you feel good, because this is who we're playing with. This is my realm. This is my thing. So you can't. It's not black and white. There are pros and cons to the side of it, and there are definitely people who prefer to spend 15 minutes trying to reach the auction house but knowing that that's their community and that's what they're a part of, rather than every time I go to Ironforge, it's going to be a super smooth experience, and I'm always going to get there. I'm always going to get my things done.
It's definitely a seesaw, right? A little teeter-totter.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to it. Because
yeah,
what's the number? What's the magic number where Blizzard says no? No. You're having a bad gaming experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have to leave that in your hands. You're going to pick when we're having a bad gaming experience.
Well, so far as I understood it, it's going to be at launch. They were talking about it, and then they're going to see where it's needed. Right? It's not going to be a global thing.
That's the bit that's the contentious point.
Yeah,
yeah, right. That's the bit. Yeah. When is it the point where they say that's enough?
Yeah,
right there. That's the point. Is it 200 people in Ironforge? Is it 300? Is it 400? Is it 50? When are they seeing people spiking and lagging and doing all these kind of things? When are they seeing lag pop up in the chat? Whatever triggers it, and they go, nope. You know,
that would be amazing though. Just typing in lag, and then all of a sudden, everybody's gone.
I'm sure they'll figure it out. They've got months and months ahead of time. But the
I hope so.
What?
You said, I hope so.
Oh, I hope so. Okay.
I hope they figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Discord being a little finicky with you guys across the pond right now. So.
Oh, sorry, dude.
No, it's not a big deal. But the other big juicy announcement from BlizzCon, I'm actually gonna remove one that we're going to talk about because I want to get to the other little segments on this show, is Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Woo!
And I was sitting there on the media deck watching this pop up because they redid like the intro, old school cinematic, and I was like, the Mad Lads, they've done it.
Yep.
2+ years ago, I was talking to Krendor about this while fishing with him, if not more than that now. And the first thing I could think of when that was popping up was, I hope all of Nobbel's blood doesn't go to his boner and he passes out.
Oh man, to see that HD cinematic was so freaking good. I rushed to the pre-order website. I didn't even care about gameplay or whatnot. I just instantly, bam, here's my money.
Yep, I bought it too.
Yep, nope. Same.
Like the detailed hand in the water with the blood and the orc, and oh man. Custom map creation. They're actually working on lining up a story bits and pieces in the campaigns and whatnot.
Yep.
And potentially getting like a switch for the different voices, like old and new ones.
Ooh.
Oh, so down, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
very, very cool. Well, you noticed that classics was pluralized, right? Did anybody, you guys notice that?
That's the side. It's like you looked at my notes, but you didn't. But yeah, that's the big thing that you want to put in there is that Blizzard Classics, the department, like the team, is now officially announced. That's also huge.
It is. I noticed it straight away. I was like, classics?
Yep.
Okay.
I just found out about this. Do tell.
Yeah, please go on. You know, I can't wait. I want more. I want new lore videos for you, Nobbel, in this regard. You'll be able to capture all the new in-game cinematics, all the new characters. Arthas has a neck now. It's insane.
Jaina has actual boobs instead of triangles, man. It's amazing.
Wow.
That's what I noticed.
All the thumbnails I can make. So many thumbnails.
You know, someone had to say it. We were all thinking it. You were just saying it. That's fine.
I didn't notice. I'm not gonna lie.
Demon Hunters in a custom map creation. Oh,
male and female demon. Yeah. All the different, like in the regular map, the RTS mode, every hero is gonna have 2 genders, male and female. Apparently, most of them. They were showing a lot of the concept art off. The fixing of the lore plot points and like stringing all the story in one fell swoop. I'm sure you'll probably play them as chapters, like night elf, human, you know, undead, whatever.
Are we retconning? I didn't see. Are they retconning some stuff?
They're making small changes here and there. They're still deciding per campaign, like what do we need to change. But they were talking about like the Purge of Stratholme, I believe, where if you go in right now, there was something about killing humans, and they just wanted to make it more like it's in WoW right now.
Right.
But I glossed over the article. Like I don't know the details on what they're going to change. But they are looking at, do we need to revise anything with the lore as it is today, rather than what it was back then. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I imagine there's going to be some triggering there, dude.
Hashtag no changes.
Hashtag no changes.
Classic Warcraft.
No way.
There are topics on this already. Yeah.
We live in a world with WoW now with the Chronicles, so there's a lot of things they're probably going to want to like shore up and fix that are just incorrect. And the one big thing,
there isn't that much different though compared to how it was. Like maybe when it comes to Illidan's storyline, like more of a emphasis on actually the good guy, rather than
right.
what we saw back then.
Yeah, we'll see.
But really not that much, if top of my head.
I'm looking forward to the fact that they didn't say this officially, so if you didn't know, Warcraft 3 Reforged, not remastered. All right, make sure that they use that word very specifically. It's actually both Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos and Frozen Throne. It's one package. It's all of it. So all the chapters you'll play. Is the Rexar story going to be Reforged too? Because that actually has lore bits that could be cleaned up. That would be fun. But I'm just looking forward to what? Oh, I can't think of top of my head. Come on, all this stuff was like a decade plus old. I'm sure they can. The big lore problems are Warcraft 1 and 2, and with Mike saying classics, hopefully.
Yeah, but you mentioned the Rexar campaign. Like, what should be fixed from the Rexar campaign, though?
Is there not anything that's like glaringly awkward with the Chronicles versus that storytelling? Is that still good?
I think
because
so.
you would know more than I would. That's what I was thinking about what you just said, that they only have certain things they want to clean up and fix based on what is or isn't correct back then. So they're not changing the whole game. That's what I mean.
No, I think they were trying to make the area look more like we see it in game, like clean that a little bit.
Okay.
But story-wise, it could still play out the way it is right now.
Okay.
Maybe Chen storms out, but Chen can still be there. I think it's still part of Chen's storyline that he was there, because that then correlates to what we see in Classic with like the storm-style barrels that you can find in the Barrens. So Chen has to be there.
Right.
How else are we going to get the beautiful expansion of Mr. Pandaria with Kung Fu Pandas that Mike loves so very much?
Why would you do that? Wow, Nobbel.
I feel like this is an attack on me.
Why? Do you not want to play
hating on Mr. Pandaria?
Oh, that.
Well, I don't mind Mr. Pandaria. It's okay. It was one of the better expansions after a while.
But War 3 Reforged looks a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Well, you guys got triggered by them calling it Reforged? Like, that triggered me no end.
No. Because the
You're
word...
like, I want my reforging back, yeah?
Meme. Yeah, like, oh, they finally brought reforging back. And that's what I called it. I was like, really? You're calling it Reforged? God damn.
Because
maybe I was reading too much into it.
The word remaster, I think, has... Because I used that for StarCraft, right? The original StarCraft. That's a remaster. It's just like literally an upres. But Warcraft 3 Reforged isn't just an upres, because if they're redoing dialogue and fixing maps and potentially working out any story bits within the campaign itself, and of course it's all the new models and the UI and everything else, it's a lot more than just a remaster. So that's why they wanted a different word. Yeah.
Yeah, they were building it from the ground up, right? Rather than just splashing a new code on it.
Well, it technically runs over top of Warcraft 3. So it's a bit more than that. I don't know how the engineers have made it. There's probably interviews about it out there, but it looks real good. But if you watch like the gameplay of it, and if you get to play it, all the animations are the same. It's just all the new models. So they probably just a lot of it is reskinning and updating. But I'm looking forward. I mean, you're gonna do a whole other playthrough of it, I imagine, right, Nobbel?
Oh yeah.
I think we all will, right?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, we probably all will.
Anybody who's not going to have a bash at it. And probably a lot of people will discover stuff and go, oh, Arthas was in the game for ages before Wrath.
Wait, that's the Lich King, isn't it?
I know him.
Yeah.
And they'll discover all these old abilities that characters had from years old that eventually made it into the game.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't play Warcraft 3. Like, I started Classic up to Wrath of the Lich King, and then I played Warcraft 3. So...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's about the same time as me, and that's where I played Warcraft.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't a Blizzard fanboy for till World of Warcraft.
Okay, there you go.
Same.
That was my first Blizzard game. Well, I played Lost Vikings, but I didn't know it was a Blizzard game.
So we're like way over time for the first segment, but I want to get to the fun segments here. I moved the what's next.
Oh, this was the boring segment, yeah?
Oh yeah, all the boring segments.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so. The same thing I sort of did with Cox and Krendor on their pre-BlizzCon special was I wanted to put both of my guests in a scenario or a situation to give them their own little segment. So, Nobbel's first, and it's funny you brought up the Culling of Stratholme. I mean, you saw the show notes, so you know this is happening. But in sort of a similar way to Krendor, you're very known for your voice and how you speak, the cadence there, and how you roll your R's. Please. Okay, that was just a tease. All right. That being said, like I open with it, Krendor read from Wowpedia in episode 171, it only seems fair to make you do the same. So, in light of War 3 Reforged, how about you have the post pulled up? The link is right there. Well, I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link in Discord. It's also in the show notes.
Thank you kindly. Okay.
So,
yeah.
I feel like if you want to read I don't know if you want to read all of background, the battle, and the aftermath. That's totally up to you. If you want to read the Culling of Stratholme WoWpedia excerpt here, and I will give you a sort of a count in. I got some music to play in the background.
Wait, where do you want me to begin? You want me to begin at the background? Yeah.
I think the background, would be the best.
I need my glove
start.
for this. I need my safety glove.
Are you ready?
Do you need your safety glove? All right.
I need my safety glove.
Hold on. You're on in 5, 4.
Hello, everyone. In the early stages of the Third War, the plague reached Stratholme in infected shipments of grain, most likely from Anderhall. The populace, unaware of the plague, baked and consumed the infected grain. The Dreadlord Mal'Ganis was silently overseeing the operation. As the population of the city started to fall ill, its citizenry started to be agitated. Some citizens started harassing food vendors and grain suppliers, while others, they were trying to get into the town hall to speak to Magistrate Barphilus for leadership. When Arthas Menethil's forces arrived outside the walls of the city, the first things they did was inspect the grain shipments in order to detect traces of the plague. As it turned out, they'd arrived too late, and the city had already been infected, even though its residents didn't know how dire their situation was. You want me to continue, yeah?
Sure.
Arthas now wanted to deal with an entire army of undead, ordered Uther the Lightbringer and his paladins to destroy the town. Uther was appalled by this, saying he wouldn't follow the orders even if Arthas was the king. For his defiance, Arthas suspended the Knights of the Silver Hand from service and called all those still loyal to Lordaeron to come with him. Uther took his followers and left, and Jaina Proudmoore quickly followed. Abandoned by his teachers and friends, Arthas led the loyalists to Stratholme, taking upon himself to burn down the city and kill everyone in it to prevent the citizens from becoming scourge. This entire city must be purged. Purged. I'm done. Are you okay there, Mike? Yeah? You good?
I was very upset.
No, didn't mean Arthas purged your city.
All I had was some grain. It was just grain. Leave me alone.
Oh, man. Bay being the polite host, Nobbel the noble storyteller, and Preach the goon.
Are you kidding me? He tells me this every time we meet. You just read the Culling of Stratholme to me every time we meet.
Next time we'll do steamy romance novels, yeah?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. That's totally
Oh,
fine.
perhaps some Razorblade reviews, eh?
Feed for men! Yes!
All right. So to bounce from Nobbel's segment, now, Mike, to play to your strengths and what you are known for within our little corner of the internet, you talk a lot about this little game called World of Warcraft. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but you sort of blend your knowledge and more so your feelings towards different aspects of the game, sort of piece by piece. So rating, as we've talked about much on this show today and past shows, is a big part of that, and one of the parts of the game that you love the most. But how good at you are remembering and then divulging sort of Cliff Note-y oriented strats for certain bosses in World of Warcraft.
Okay.
So this is a segment called Splain That Boss.
Explain that boss.
Explain that boss. And I'm going to name off a raid boss. There's like 7 or 8 on here. And I want you to use a...
8. Okay.
Okay. Some of these are memes. You'll have nothing to say about them except okay. But I'm going to say the boss's name. Got some awesome music in the background. And just sort of give your Cliff Note explanation of the mechanics to defeat that boss. All right?
Yeah, as pointed out, I don't often remember the name of the raid bosses. For generally, like Starbro.
Well...
Just bear that in mind.
I don't think none of these will trip you up, I don't think.
Okay. I'm ready.
All right, so we will start this segment in 5, 4, 3, 2. Azurgos.
Oh, Jesus. Don't die. You get debuffed forever. That kills you really quickly. Your tanks need to be on point because he's going to drop aggro periodically after a teleport, and your tanks need to pull him back. And he's untauntable, so be aware of dots.
Illidan.
4 phases. First phase, really boring. It's all about your tank. Second phase, spread to multiple groups of about 4 or 5. Make sure you've got 2 off tanks with fire resist and keep them close to the melee. In the third phase, spread out, kill the demons. If you get infection, run out to the side and let your friends help. And in the last phase, pull him into the trap and nuke him and GG them. No Warglaive.
Brutalis.
Burn. Healers need to be aware of burn. The rest of the fight is just spam the tank and it's a DPS raise. Burn gets worse over time. Stop spamming your big heals at the start of burn, you big noob.
Syndragosa.
Install that virtual world projector. GG, have fun.
Yes. Oh, Ultraxian.
Other than that, use your brain. Ultraxian. If you play in a guild called Method and they tell you to use a talent that's not part of your talent spec and you tell them that that's not the talent that you have and they tell you to do it anyway, remind them, especially to tell Just Wait to tell them on your behalf because you're going to wipe the raid and as a trial and look like a big noob, although you were correct. That happened to me. That's a personal experience.
Figured, yeah.
The Will of the Emperor.
Oh, get a blood DK. End of story.
Come on, Ring of Frost was good there too.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. All right, Blackhand.
Oh, which difficulty?
Oh, on Mythic. Go for it.
Okay, make sure you talent into Flappy.
Sounds into Flappy, what?
Flappy is key for Blackhand Mythic. Thank you very much.
Of course, sure.
Run in a big circle and remember that Aspect of the Fox was the most powerful cooldown in the game alongside Bloodlust. In the last phase, soak the things, damn it! The debris! Soak it! No one cares about your damage. There you go. And stand behind the tanks that are actual tanks, not the player tanks. The other tanks that look like tanks. Those ones.
And Trilliax.
Eat the cake. It's not hard. Just eat the cake and avoid the beam. That's all you need to do. Eat the cake, soak things. Easy. And yeah, jump on the robots. Other than that, do whatever you want. Just eat the cakes. Please, just eat the cake. That's all we ask. Just eat the cake. Stop trying to pass. Eat the cake. There you go. And run in a circle.
Oh gosh.
Nailed it, I think. Really close.
Is
it more?
That's it. That's it. You're good.
Oh, okay.
That's perfect. That was real good. That was real good.
Will of the Emperor, my god.
Yeah.
You remember them like freshly capped blood DKs being brought in?
Oh man.
What did they do then?
They gripped all the mobs together so you could see them.
You're
Like,
gripping
it was
all the
all
mobs
about
together.
it's all about keeping the sparks in the same place. You want
Yep,
the sparks
that too.
together. Yeah, it was a big deal.
I like how your synopsis of Will of the Emperor doesn't even talk about dancing or stacking the buff to do more damage. No, it's
It
just
doesn't matter.
bring a
It's
blood
just
DK.
Bring a blood DK or 2 of them. Easy. Job done.
Bring a blood DK. Easy,
Yeah.
he says.
Easy.
All right. Well, I'm going to babble on about some mid-show bookkeeping real quick. These guys can step away for a moment if they have to grab a drink or whatever, and I will we'll come back and we'll of course do some questions from you. I have some canned questions, but if you have questions, of course, for Preach and Nobbel, then save it for just a moment. But again, thank you very much for tuning into the show today, and a special thank you, of course, to Wowhead for helping make these shows possible. Go check out Wowhead if you've missed anything from BlizzCon 2018. Or, of course, all the extra content they are putting out and the news and the updates and literally everything. So all of the Today in WoW stuff. This is actually a really cool little board. It shows you all the different sort of world quest points and little things you can do with any time during the day at a glance, and then literally everything else. I was actually on this the other day looking up bosses when I was making the guides over my notes, looking up the different boss strategies and stuff like that to make sure if Mike said certain things, I would know what he was talking about from the older bosses, even though, again, some of them were kind of a joke. But go check out Wowhead, of course, if you don't already have that bookmarked already. And of course, if you want more of this show, these wonderful nerds help out to make sure this show can keep happening as well. Every single month, this graphic is updated, and there's a whole bunch of extra stuff. There's BTS audio shows. There are behind-the-scenes shows, one-on-one, technically with you and me. Like bi-monthly, you can ask me whatever you'd like. Get behind-the-scenes what's coming up next. Really belated birthday cards. There's a Christmas card coming out soon that's all fully customized and sent to you with horribly, ridiculously, possibly emotional nonsense written on the back of it. That's totally fine. But that, of course, all goes over here on this website. Over on the show's Patreon page, there's 45 more behind-the-scenes shows if you want more of this. And, of course, if you want the sort of archive of where everything goes, the new website is launched with all the links to the show, the stream, the YouTube channel, support, the Discord servers, all this stuff, all the episodes. If you want to go to the audio-only versions of those in podcast form, those are also right there for you all. And, of course, they're all archived on the YouTube channel. So if you want to check out the pre-BlizzCon special here, or the Method and Limit World First, World Second shows, or the really popular recently, the Mythic Plus State of, we have more State of shows coming up soon. We're doing State of Tanking, Healing, Range DPS, Melee DPS. Those are coming out next couple of weeks, next few Sundays, and then we have the year-end special. Again, if you went over earlier, episode 172 of the show was sort of my BlizzCon coverage, broke up into 3 parts. Had my dev interview, my Mark Messenger director interview, and then later today, hopefully, I got to finish editing it. It's a bit more difficult to edit this one. Is my sit down with Taryn Gregory. We were talking about the Terror of Darkshore in-game cinematic, the Mark Messenger one with Lost Honor, super film nerdy, geeky nonsense, just talking about film stuff and cameras and directing, all that, if you're interested in all that stuff from that side, because hopefully I get to do more of those with Blizzard, interviewing their voice actors or artists or musicians, that kind of stuff, and going over all that to get more than just the dev stuff with the game, just behind the scenes of how all this stuff is created and put together for you guys over on the YouTube channel. Go check that out down below. And of course, so you can follow the channel here on Twitch. You can support the channel right here if you want to, or of course on the YouTube channel. And then all the relative social media links for myself and my guests today are all down below on YouTube, or of course they're right here on the screen. If you don't, just Nobbel87 and Preach, just Google them. Well, I guess you can't Google Preach because we had an issue with that with PreachCon. That was funny, but let me see.
I don't know about this.
You don't know about, you didn't
What
see
happened?
You didn't see all the PreachCon hashtags from PreachCon that were interlinked with some actual religious organization, something or other, that was kind of awkward to be.
Yeah.
It happens.
I didn't choose wisely with this name when I was a youngster.
No.
But the people won't let me leave it.
That's true.
So what am I supposed to do?
Yep.
You can call me Mike. It's a big thing in my guild. I'm like, call me Mike.
Yep.
Please.
It's such an adjustment, man. I want to call you Preacher so bad, but I know you don't like it. So I'm like, Mike, right?
Yeah. So the first section I want to bring up here on the back end, hour half of the show, is I moved it down here. So if people want to post questions in chat, we can pick some of those out. But I got to bring this up on screen to sort of scroll through it. The BlizzCon 2018 World of Warcraft What's Next panel was a bit more than I was expecting. That was a lot of stuff that they dropped on us that was a little ridiculous. I mean, some of the stuff we expected to happen, but I mean, like
it was needed though. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, Cliff
With
Notes.
the current mindset when it comes to the game, they needed to show what they.
Oh, it totally did. I mean, Zandalari Paladins, so they caved. They confirmed Kulturan Mages, Dark Moonfair Roller Coaster. We're going to Najatar. Heckin' Mechagon, the Worgen and Goblin VU 8.25, the new Island Expedition, plus system updates and new events, and they're restructuring the architecture and how they work. Heroic Warfronts that you just queue with 10 to up to 30 people. You queue. There's no matchmaking. So that'll be interesting to do and fun to do with like your online communities and stuff to see if it's actually more difficult and like, you know, put people here, put people there, do really specific things. Like, and so much more on this post. What the heck?
PvE Battlegrounds?
Yeah, PvP, yeah.
Which I think is going to be extraordinarily popular.
Yeah.
Extraordinarily popular.
The Battlegrounds versus AI, you mean?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I wonder if they. I didn't know if they announced it because they're doing the whole deep mine stuff with StarCraft 2. I wonder if that's a bleed over into World of Warcraft.
Well, they're basing it off the island.
Island,
tech,
also,
right?
the island tech. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, they're basing it off the island tech. So I expect most people will win. It's going to be a non-toxic environment, which is a big deal right now. And you know, I think a lot of people memed it immediately. Like, you know, why I wouldn't do it personally. Like, I enjoy PvP against other players, but a lot of people like doing BGs. Don't really like getting the butts handed to them all the time, right? If you're not particularly great, so it's going to be a good thing, I think. And again, they're trying to build characters out of the AI, like the Sneaky Pete's, and
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to get you to recognize these foes. I don't really see it though in the islands. I don't. Great, it's okay. It's not great though. But I think a lot of players are going to love the PvP. Absolutely adore them, and I'm really happy for those guys as well.
It's going to depend on the rewards, to be honest. Like, if I can get reputation with Rafi against AI, that would be great, because that's one of the achievements I still need. You know.
Yeah, maybe slightly less, but I even that they don't need to do that. I just keep it the same. If people want to fight against other players, fine. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah. It's
interesting. Yeah.
It's weird that it was not a WoW BlizzCon, but they really just pushed like half a year forward and stuff coming out. We got all the way to 8.2.5. Which
the message I got, I don't know if you guys got this, was like, bear with us. 8.1 is kind of the real start of BFA.
Oh, sure.
Because he said it's the beginning like so many times, and we obviously don't know how well WoW's doing right now. I'm sure we've all got different opinions on that, but their point was pretty much like, look, we know. We're not going to say it, but we know.
Yeah.
And 8.1 is going to be where because none of the stuff that launched in BFA was fleshed out in any way. It was all very bare bones. War mode was very bare bones. They added no content on top of the actual war mode to make it give it longevity and stuff like that. It's like, we're going to fix that. We're also going to address the things that should have been updated there, like professions. Okay, professions don't make any sense in BFA right now. They're all over the place. We're going to do some stuff for that. The island expeditions are going to exactly as we proposed them to be when we heard the announcement. It's like, because me and Nobbel said we tested the islands on the PTR together. They were different. They were different styles of islands, and now it seems that's what we're actually getting. It's almost like we got a pre-build of the islands, and they're gonna make it better, good, because it's not fun right now, in my opinion.
Sure.
And then the war fronts. I've been saying it for a while. Guilds need more to do than just raiding. Like, a guild shouldn't be just for raiding. You want activities and things to do with your friends outside of, like, what difficulty are we doing? Like, that's so sterile and boring.
I don't understand why they prevented us from queuing as a group just in normal mode. I get the idea that the content is not tuned around it, so you'll be waiting for NPCs to catch up. But then again, the system we have right now is half the group is AFKing and you still win. So
that's probably why, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy enough, and you will blitz it with a group, but you know, war fronts are just not that entertaining. Let's be real. You've done one war front and you know what the battle is going to be like. There's to get the resources, get the bikes up or the siege vehicles up, and you kill the end boss. Apparently, the item level has been implemented because people were actually failing, which I find really, really surprising. But apparently,
there was so many AFK that I saw the posts about.
Yeah, but even at the start, like when.
AFK.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous to me. But even so, like, okay, right now we have a AFK. I'd rather just go in there with buddies and blitz it and wait for the NPCs and just have a good time rather than be frustrated about half my team being AFK.
I think that's the tweak is that the current version of Warfronts are sort of just for everybody. They're like the LFR version, if you want to use that terminology, which is
unfailable.
Yeah. Well, okay.
They were designed that way.
Yeah.
They announced that. I know they're not, but they're supposed to be. They're designed.
No, but apparently they are not unfailable because that's the reason why they added the item level restriction in there.
Right.
Yeah, you can fail, but it's hard. It's hard. You can do it, but it is hard. They're designed to be by anybody.
Yeah. The heroic warfront idea, though, hopefully it's not just like a numbers scaling like tweak. If other things happen in like the Horde or the Alliance that you're against act a little differently, or different events spawn,
it needs to be more randomized, man.
Right.
To keep it entertaining, it needs to be way more randomized.
Yeah. And like delegating who's to go to what to do different things is way more of like what Mike just said. It's almost like a raid environment, but it's not a raid. It's just like a PU versus PvE kind of something else to do with more than 5 people. Because all you do if you're outside of raiding is you just do, Mythic Plus, I guess. This is like the
That's
first.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They need more. They need guilds to be more important because right
Yeah.
now people are just trapped.
Yeah.
A lot of the player base is just trapped in an endless void of garbage.
Yeah.
So give incentives for that to be there. They are. That's what I mean. I've worked hard to get people out of that. That's what I want to happen.
Yeah.
And it's hard to incentivize that when it's like, well, what do you need a guild for? Heroic's easier for sure, but you can pug it, and mythic rating is above that.
There's just,
and that's the only reason you need a guild. You know what I mean? That's not enough.
We got the
But from the things they announced, at BlizzCon, do you feel like it's enough to bring players back in that already decided like this is not for me anymore? Because I personally, from what they've announced, it seems like a lot of the same.
I think they have, as much as I enjoyed looking at the stuff, it's kind of become a cyclical thing. Like the art team is carrying WoW hard.
Oh, holy crap. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's getting to the point now where a lot of the stuff they show us is the art team nailing it time after time. And they do. The art team is crushing it, and they are the linchpin of keeping people interested in WoW right now. Because when it comes to mechanics and stuff, that's where it falls down. Like, Warfronts are beautiful. Like, they're a gorgeous zone to be in. Gameplay-wise, they're trash. Islands as well are actually pretty cool looking. Like, the visuals when they set fire and the weather changes and all that is gorgeous. Gameplay-wise, they're pretty crappy. And what we got looks fantastic. But I couldn't help but read into it. It's like, is Nazjatar going to be kind of like Argus? Because Argus is astonishingly beautiful.
Yeah.
When we went to Argus for the first time and you saw that skybox and you looked around that world, it was fantastic. Then we got into the bones of it, and it's like, oh my god, this is actually not great. Like, the storyline was all gated off. It was, you know.
But apparently they want to do like a mix and mingle of all the little outside content done before, like Argus, but also Timeless Isle.
But they mentioned everything. They said everything. They mentioned everyone. And it was like, well, they're all different. So what do you mean by that? And I'll wait and
just every day there's something else to do. But then I remind myself of how they announced the island expedition. Every time you have a different encounter, I'm like, on paper you got these ideas, but will they be implemented that way? I'll wait and see until we can actually test it.
It definitely seems. I mean, I got from my dev interview specifically, that was my biggest question I asked to Jeremy and Paul. And so we have, I mean, the two new events. We have the Seam and we have the Horde mode. So there's two different versions, and they are potentially working on having an exploration mode be one of the random things that pops up where there's no other faction. So you just do whatever you want on the island yourself. And they want to change just sort of how the island responds or reacts to you. Because the current version is the whole, like, kill rares, stay ahead of the other side, wait for an event to spawn to get the extra rewards, that kind of stuff, or like focus target certain mob type, which is very systematic now. So, but yeah, like what Mike and you both saw in beta, I think they were trying to get all those cogs working months ago, couldn't, had to scale it back, and now we're getting sort of what their vision of islands would be in 8.1. So
yeah,
that
it feels like, go on.
No, that and the Heroic Warfront are like the two things they just couldn't finish.
Yeah, it feels like most of it.
That's enough, though.
It could be too late. First impressions are everything.
That's what Nobbel said. That's what Nobbel said. Yeah,
it's true. It's very hard to climb back, like famous Miyamoto quote. But WoW is different in that respect. Is people, as we've seen with sales numbers, and we've seen with each expansion and things like that, is people will give it another chance.
Sure.
If they're interested enough, they will give it another chance. They just really need to nail it this time. Otherwise, if we come back and all this stuff is all fluff and basically it's just a new daily quest hub, that's not going to get the job done, man. It's really not going to get it done. I mean, we've seen that the new Azerite traits aren't really what I think people expected. Because, you know, depending on what issue you have with Azerite, we've actually looked at the new stuff that's coming out on the PTR now. We've got this extra ring, but it turns out basically they've just split the other ring so you can have multiple choices of the same stuff. There's a few new ones, but not many.
Right.
And it's still random, and your necklace still updates the gear, I guess.
Well, not random. I mean, it's preset, but I think a lot of us, from what the descriptions the Blizzard gave us, we kind of thought that we were getting a ring about, and it was going to have two choices per spec of the new traits that were going to be more interesting, more involved, because the feedback had been like, my character just shoots fireworks randomly. It has nothing to do with me. It's not interesting. I don't really care. I check a website to see which one's higher. Does this one that randomly procs damage do more damage than the other one that randomly procs damage? That's the thought process that's gone into it, right? But what it's actually turned out to be is the same traits are now across 2 rings. So, that's like it's very deflating. But at the same time, they're making raid content that is considerably better than Uldia. And Uldia is decent enough as it is. So, is it enough to bring people back?
Fan of the upcoming raid, right?
Huge fan. So many fun mechanics. So many fun mechanics.
Yeah, Mike's
really
been gushing about this. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Ant-Man mechanics, which is super fun to be running around and jumping in robots and talking to each other and giving codes. So they really do feel like they've abandoned the idea of we need to make this very pug-friendly, because certainly like Mecha Talk and a couple of the other bosses require good communication to get right. And that's not a pug-friendly feature. I think they're saying, look, we put voice chat in game. It's all there for you. A lot of you are using it. Yeah. We can afford to do this now. And that opens up their creativity box. Because if you have to create content in a vacuum where people aren't talking to each other, that really limits your choices and what you can do.
Right.
So I'm really happy with that. I want to be excited about going to the islands. I'm not going to lie. I do. I want to be excited about it. I want to be excited to go and do the Warfront. I want to be like, are we doing the Warfront on Thursday? Are we doing it Thursday? When are we doing that? Because I want to do that. That's what the feeling I want. I don't want to be like, oh, the Warfront's up. I want to see more creativity than 5 quests of kill 20 things 13 years after the game came out when the Warfront's ours. It's like, this really as far as you pushed this creativity-wise? You couldn't think of anything better?
There's an argumentative point you can bring up with that one, is because we've gotten they brought 2 brand new systems into the game with Battle for Azeroth in Islands and Warfronts on top of everything else they sort of pulled forward from Legion. And once you start spreading a little bit too much, that's when you get, it doesn't feel like it's done yet, right? So
it wasn't done. It flat out wasn't done. There's no denying that. They'll never admit it, but it was not done. Yeah. It was not finished. It was not fleshed out. It was the very bare bones of what they could stick in to make it relevant. Like, what are we going to put in here? We haven't got time to do anything really good. Let's just throw this in and we'll sort. I'm sure the conversation heavily I mean, we tracked this. I'm not making this up. We tracked this across the alpha and the beta, where they clearly went, stop. We can't do it. We'll do it in 8.1. Yeah. And we had that. That's the decision they obviously had to make. It's like, we have to be ready to go. Leave it as is. We'll fix it in 8.1. So 8.1 for me is actually the start of BFA. That's how I'm looking at 8.1. It's like, this is where the game should have been a few months ago. And let's see how it goes from there. That's my stance on it.
I hope you're right, man. I really do.
Nobbel, here's a throwaway question for you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going to put cream in your coffee?
Never. Coffee is coffee. You don't put anything in your coffee. You just drink coffee. Who puts cream in their coffee? What do I look like? British?
Oh.
This feels like a really easy question compared to the one we just did.
It does. Well, here's
way less involved.
Here's a throwaway question for you then, Mike.
Yeah.
What do you think of the tease on having an underwater boss?
Love it. Alakir was great. That is technically an underwater boss in the last phase. I mean, that's the only mechanic they did. Kel'Thas was the same. Some of the really great bosses I fought have been technically underwater bosses. Not the whole way through. Not the whole way through, but I'm fine with it. I love Vashir. I think it's a great zone. I have fun leveling that. I know it. It's.
Who are you?
I thought it was fun.
I loved it.
It's not even finished. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but the stuff that's in there is really fun.
I
love going on that submarine and going near the maw and going into riding the sharks, going back in time. I love Vashir. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I level there whenever I go there. I haven't been there for a long time, but I did. I must have done Vashir 8 times. I was fine with it.
Yeah,
I've done that zone fully once to record the questline. Most boring experience ever. Oh my
crazy! God. I thought that was really fun.
Wait.
So I'm looking really forward to Nashatar, as you could tell.
Yeah.
Nashatar should be pretty damn good though.
It looks like Nashatar is sort of brought to us because it's sort of not. We're not going down to it. It's coming up to us. It looks like in all the art. So we'll definitely see. Even though
like waterfall splitting the sea, right? And then we were gonna walk over that. Yeah.
Yeah, rifting.
I'm more hyped for the gnomes, man.
Holy crap!
I'm so happy that we got the gnomes as well. Like, we kind of already knew that Ajaran coming up and whatnot, but the gnome bit is completely left field, and I'm so happy about it.
It's to confirm. So Mechagon is not really a huge deal in the lore that I am aware of. That's why when it popped up when Jeremy showed it off, I was like, "Wait, is that the?" I would like look it up on like WoWpedia, right? That is essentially the place where the Titans like mechanomes in to start working on their own stuff back in the day, right? When they were forming the world. Is that where they started,
Where did you get that from?
no? But what is Mechagon then? Like what is
Like
it?
you looked it up on Wikipedia. I was like, oh, you found a new article. Mecha place. Like mecha gnomes come from the whole Mimiron bit. Like he created those, but that was around the machinery at Ulduar. Whereas Mechagon is just like a lost ancient gnome city.
Right.
There is a vault in there, a vault of Mimiron. That's true, but I don't know if that's the birthplace of the Mechagnomes. I don't think so.
That's what I don't know if we're gonna find out, because that where they came from. Is this like?
As far as I know, they come from the Forge of Wales in Northrend, the Halls of Stone bit.
Oh yeah, that place.
With the machine, you know, where the dwarves show up and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they trekked out of there into Uldaman, where slowly the Curse of Flesh took over them. And then apparently small pockets of gnomes can also be found in Kaltiris, because in Drazvar, you can actually read on stones, like, you know, the Ancient Drust, they had battles with the Kaltirans and the Naga and stuff, but they also fought against creatures similar to gnomes, so they've always been there in that area. And the Drust go way back in time, right?
Yeah.
And here inside, we're going to find this ancient Gnomedagon-esque vault. And, you know, gnome lore is already hyped, because last gnome lore we had was End of Wrath of the Lich King, where we got, like, the whole try to liberate Gnomedagon, and we failed. So I'm very, very excited about this. And yeah, we're going to go in, goblins are going to party with, and they are, of course, after whatever's inside of the Vault of Mimiron.
Yeah.
And this whole robot area, where apparently the more robots you are, the higher up you are in society.
It's very almost like Warhammer fantasy culture with was it lizard men or orcs that have that? Like the more adorned you are, the higher up in culture you are. So the same thing with that. That's what I thought when it popped up. But
yeah, that's correct.
Mega dungeon, yeah. Mega dungeon.
Yes,
Karazhan style.
Karazhan-esque.
I'm surprised it's not launching with the 2 heroic. I thought they would have changed that after Karazhan, because people got very angry.
I mean,
very angry.
I had it confirmed that Mythic Plus will be split into 2. It's 2 pieces.
Yeah,
they literally made like there's an outside like I showed the screenshots on screen. There's like sort of the outside foundry like junkyard area, and then there's inside the actual, you know, vault or Mechagon area, the city. So there's 2 different dungeons.
They showed us the pictures and then it started outside. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What is this? What is this? And then they went inside. I was like, oh, thank God. Okay. Because it's like a dirty beach. It looked like we were going to be cleaning seals again or something. I was like, oh, no. Let me
like the outside area is already available, huh? Like you've already quested there probably if you leveled up a Lion's character.
Well, that section, yes. But that is like the portal to where the actual area is. Yeah, that area is totally available. It's like world quests and stuff there. But that obviously will lead to somewhere else. So.
Yeah, that's going to lead into a vault, and then we're going to go into another vault, as far as I understood it.
That looks really neat. That was
a vault within a vault.
Oh gosh,
big. If true.
But
popular.
That should be really. That was totally out of left field. That I did not expect that suddenly at all.
Actually, the fun fact is, a guildie of mine predicted it. He messaged me the other day, like, Nobbel, have you read about this stone? And do you know what happened to these gnomes in this area? I completely overlooked it. I was like, there are gnomes supposed to be in this area? I don't freaking know. And then we saw BlizzCon. I was like, dude, you knew. So cool.
Yeah, we've got portal rooms in Orgrimmar and Stormwind, Brawlers Guilds coming back. We've got Profession, Tools of the Trade. We've got the updates to Warsong Gulch and Arathi Basin. Those look gorgeous. But obviously, because again, art team, just like
the art team smashed it, man. They absolutely the new mounts are so good.
The crab, the crab
mount is the best ever. Like, I don't care about mounts. Like, I gave away recently. It doesn't bother me. I just saw these mounts. Like, I actually want that mount. I really do want.
It takes a lot to get me excited for a mount too. Yeah.
Yeah, like mounts aren't really my jam, but the crab thing, I was like, need it in my life so much.
Terrible.
I hope it's the Mythic Jaina reward.
Ooh.
Just so no one else can have it.
Well, I mean, okay.
Mythic Jaina's gonna give you crabs, yeah? Is that how it works?
That's what I want to happen so much. Mythic Jaina crab.
Oh no.
And you can have the My Little Pony thing though.
So how about BlizzCon 2019? It'll definitely be a World of Warcraft BlizzCon. Nobbel, will you be in attendance, do you think?
I have no idea at this point, mate. I hope so, but you never know.
Mike, what about you?
It's a long trip, okay?
It definitely is.
Yeah, I think so. I wanted to go this year. Actually, I was debating it. I could have gone last minute because so many people went expecting me to be there and were tweeting me, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm in a different country, bro."
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but I miss. It's very expensive for us to get there, but
Of course.
God, it's so fun. Like
When you're home and you see those pictures and it's like, oh, I want to be where the people are.
Yeah. And a lot of the American viewers who, that's the only time they get to meet us is like, because we have just a huge party in the Hilton lobby there. So good.
I mean, did you see this adorable picture of T&E and myself on the last day? I mean,
Oh, did they go?
Of course, yeah, they definitely went. Yep, they absolutely went.
Nerds.
Yep.
Nerds.
Straight up nerds. Wow.
Oh.
Yep. No, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys could. I had a house this year and it was awesome. Next year, I'm going to get an even bigger house. So if you want, you could stay at my house next year and I'll feed you my meat.
Yes. Spicy.
Again? Really?
Again.
I mean, you can ask any of the butts that were at the final house. I was basically sous videing steaks for like 4.5 hours. It was
that
real
sounds
good.
annoying.
It
That
was
sounds annoying.
awesome.
Slap it on the barbecue.
No
Jimmy.
way.
I remember that Korean barbecue we did where you were like cooking all these steaks and I was stuck with the actual proper Korean food and I was
It
like,
was
I just want to have what Bay's having.
I
Give me your meat, please.
I will toot my own horn that I crushed it on those steaks. We had like $400+ worth of ribeyes and New York strips from a local butcher, all freshly cut that day. Oh, it was awesome.
I don't like steak. What else have we got?
Wow.
Wow.
I want to be that guy. Yeah, I don't really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to get back there. I really do. It's
Okay,
like I don't really go for BlizzCon itself, because often it's kind of a first world problem for sure. But a lot of the stuff they show we kind of have.
Yep.
So you don't really want to queue up to play WoW Classic or something like that. Oh, I definitely would have done this time. It's just more to meet
Really?
people. Like meeting people there would have been great.
Why is the bald guy on the left wearing a cap, but the guy on the right isn't? Which one is hot? Which one is cold? So many questions.
I'm cold. UK is freezing here. It's freezing. I'm cold.
Go back to this again if you want.
There you go.
It is chilly though. I have to admit.
Yeah, no, it's
How will
definitely
we
not,
survive the winter?
It's not cold in Florida, so. Oh no. What else do I have here? There was a couple questions that came up that were a little bit like, I don't know, too discussion area oriented, because one of them was referencing the whole Discord communities are ruining the state of World of Warcraft classes, and you can only
put that on
pick,
the list.
You can, yeah, like only.
What else?
I don't know. That the weird thing that osmosis in the community that always gets around to my channel that I keep talking about is that unless you're pushing super high Mythic Plus keys or doing like, back-breaking Mythic Plus, Mythic rating, like to actually like push the progression in your guild, then you can really play whatever you want. Like you can look at all these numbers and the top to bottom right now is still kind of weird, but it's not that bad. Honestly, it's not that bad. And then racials come up into this whole thing because the new racials are coming in with Zandalari and Kultiran and like, oh, are they going to be good for that? They're just, it's okay. Just play whatever you like.
That swim speed on an underwater boss is going to make all the difference.
Oh,
Let's be
God.
real.
Stop.
I missed a meme. I don't like it.
I know.
The Cultirans are
Have you
getting
got to get the fishing artifacts? Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, Kultirans have, and that's the thing too now is that, Blizzard's favoriting the Alliance because Kultirans have 5 racials and Zandalari only have 4. It's true though.
It's true though. I'm jumping on board. It is true.
It's.
I mean, the Horde still has Blood Elves, don't they? Don't Blood Elves have like the best racial?
I know, but that's actually funny. In my dev interview, Jeremy actually give a little dig at the Horde because it's a mirror raid, right? So you have to do 3 bosses as the other faction. So his question was, what are the Horde going to do when they all go Alliance and don't have Arcane Torrent?
There
Well,
you
that
go.
depends how they do it. Because at the moment, they keep changing how we... I don't know if you've done the testing, but they kept switching our racials throughout the night.
Oh, no.
It was very... It was really weird. I kept getting a new racial like every pull. It was so bizarre.
It's
It kept going, you have unlearned Shadow Meld. You have learned Berserking.
No, it's supposed to be like Halloween Mask. You just go 1-to-1, right? But yeah.
No, they've changed it back now. I think last time we had the Alliance racials.
Right.
I think that's how they did it. We changed them.
Okay.
Because they do the back in time thing now. Like they changed it. That you actually, I think you kind of have to do the bosses now. I'm not sure.
Well,
We'll have to see.
I have it all confirmed. The last 3 encounters are the same for both sides.
Yes.
So,
But I don't know if you have to do the 6 beforehand.
oh yeah, I'm not
I think
sure.
they've changed their mind on that because of the first debacle they were all moaning about.
Right.
So I think now you do 3. I'm guessing here, but and I only say this because they keep changing them. They're not. I don't think they're finalized on it.
Sure.
They keep switching around what they're going to do. So it looks like you'll do the 3, and then you'll do the flashback. They're calling it. They're calling it a flashback, where you change into the other faction to do their bosses. But either way, I don't mind because the Alliance bosses are really cool. They're really, really good. Yeah, some of the better bosses in terms of interest.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I'm trying to filter through chat to see if there's any questions that have popped up because I have a couple more. I guess we're talking about, allied races. Do you guys have to throw your hat in the ring with what your next predictions are for the next Horde and Alliance allied race?
Volpera for the Hordes. Yes, and Junker Gnomes for the Alliance.
Oh, Junkerdobes have got to be both. Junkerdobes are definitely going to be a new faction.
Why do Junker Gnomes have to be both, though? You get Volpera. They're cute, they're tiny, they're furry, they're perfect for you.
Because I love the gnome animations, and I want them on the Horde side.
Ah.
That's the end of my interest. For purely selfish reasons, I wish gnomish stuff on my side. Oh, cross faction would be fine. Both factions, that'd be okay. I'd be all right with it. I would race change to that. But other than that,
I would love to play as a Volpera, though. Their sleep animation is so cute.
Oh, no, yeah. Coltirid and Zandalari are definitely in 8.1 for sure. They're part of the next war campaign because we're basically getting a next step in the war campaign.
8.1.5, aren't they?
See, that's what chat was asking. What's the confirmation? Which one? Because I think they've said both. That's the whoops.
I think the allied races are 8.1.
I thought 8.1.5, to be fair.
Well, I'm just going to throw it out there based on numbers.
Because 8.1 would be next patch, but that's not how
December,
it works.
yeah.
Because the Sandalari aren't pushed into the Horde until the end of the raid. Spoilers alert.
Spoilers alerts.
Not really spoilers. It was a BlizzCon.
No, I know.
That's true. But still,
yeah, whatever. I mean, the allied races seem to be a money-making dream, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're a money-making gold mine. So, maybe not too long. We'll see. I mean, I'm already exalted, so I should have them now, technically. I believe.
So, is there any chance the internet could get a Nobbel and Preach play War 3 Reforged series?
Is there a co-op for it, then? Or do you mean against each other?
I would just say, like, one of you plays the RTS and the other one, like, talks about it and narrates, then you flip-flop either game.
I really like to play the game, though.
Yeah, I'll probably just stream it. There we go.
There you go.
Easy. I'll put it alongside Classic and Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Yeah, that's what we are going to do.
Oh.
Mike already invited me to play Classic with him. We're going to join a raiding guild together, and we're crushing bosses. He's going to teach me everything.
Easy.
I will be a healer. He will be a tank.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm being the Gnome Warrior is my classic of choice.
Alex said in the earnings call 8.1, but at BlizzCon it was slated for 8.15.
8.15. Is that after Christmas then? Is that when the raid launches?
Well, yeah, because 8.1 is, what, the 11th of December? And then the raid doesn't launch until early January, so...
And then somewhere after that 8.1.5 comes along.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because we're not getting the raid, which was such a good announcement.
Oh, absolutely. But
no progress over Christmas. Oh, thank God.
Frig that. Absolutely true.
Yeah, that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm so happy they did that.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine.
What did you think of the Lost Honor? Cinematic.
Oh, the cinematic.
Because we haven't talked
The
about that. I mean,
one,
that was a very cool cinematic.
Gorgeous. So freaking beautiful.
I mean,
Like
self-plug.
story-wise, it's weird, man. It's weird to see a repeat of the Mr. Pandoria storyline. I doubt that it's going to end similar to Mr. Pandoria, but similar, like there's a whole Reddit post as well. Like this tragic event, the bombing of Fedamore and the burning of Teldrassil, leading into where we are today. But the cinematic itself, with Enduin setting him free, like I can't do it alone, the facial expressions, the little fuzz on his face, like he's going Manduin. Beautiful. Absolutely. The cinematic team is just pushing it further and further each and every time. Every time I think like this is like the limit they can reach, and then it could just go beyond that.
No, yeah. I mean, I had the privilege again of sitting down with Mark Messenger, who's the director of Lost Honor, and the next one I'm sitting down with Taryn Gregory. We talked like an hour about Terror of Darkshore, so that's all of my nerdy stuff is within that almost an hour. And the Taryn one is a little over an hour because Taryn could stay longer than Mark, so I used it. We kept talking, but no, they're both phenomenal. They're both real good, and. This is a little bit nugget for Nobbel because back and forth. I don't eat up all of your content. You're not gonna eat up all of mine. So there was a part where I asked Mark for Lost Honor. This is the first expansion we've ever had where they've made multiple high fidelity cinematics for any expansion. Right? We had the launch one, and then we had Old Soldier, and we have Lost Honor. But I asked him that right now you're setting up in the game one of the last big bads that is ever going to come into World of Warcraft that was previously established with Queen Azshara. Can we expect another high fidelity, high render, they call them pre-rendered cinematics, but it doesn't really make any sense in this vein for Azshara? And he just smiled. All right. Nice. So they are, and these take so much time. And they do them alongside, remember, the Blizzard Cinematics team do them for the entire franchise. So they are making these alongside the Overwatch ones, or the Diablo ones, or the Heroes of the Storm ones. And it's mind-boggling how good these are.
Sometimes they freeze up, by the way. I just got the end of your sentence right there.
Yeah, we froze it.
It's just Discord.
It's all good.
A little Discord, yeah.
I would love like a weekly episode of WoW or Diablo or Overwatch episodes, like cinematic like this. Just a cartoon every Saturday morning. I'd be so down with that, man. I know they take forever to make, but oh my god, I would throw all my money their way.
It would be definitely something. I wonder when Blizzard's actually going to ever pair with a studio to make something like that. Because obviously we had like the Diablo leak, the Netflix series. But
is that happening? That's the first I've heard.
It hasn't been confirmed. There is like news articles about it, but nothing has come out officially.
Oh,
can I watch it on mobile though? Hey,
well, I've got a phone.
Nobbel.
Do you have a phone though, babe?
I've got one. Have you got a phone? Have you got a phone?
I've got a phone. Do you have?
We both got phones. We can play together. You not got a phone, Bay? Bay? Got a phone?
I mean, that might be where we end the show. I think. I don't know if we can...
Coward!
I don't know if we can do anything more behind...
What are you, on Android, you pleb?
Of course I am. Absolutely. What the heck?
Apple.
No, gosh, no, please.
Apple, ew.
Oh, man. Oh my gosh. No way. I mean, there are other things that are popping up in chat that I could read, but I think that might be it, unless you guys see anything else that you want to talk about. So
a lot of people are asking, like, will 8.1 be the big thing? I think it needs to be.
Yeah.
I hope it is. I mean, fingers crossed it is. Like, if we're hoping. I know a lot of people still are enjoying BFA even for it, but I worry about a lot of things that are happening in BFA right now. 8.1 seems to be addressing a number of those concerns. Let's hope it plays out. We'll have to wait until it's out, unfortunately, because a lot of it is like art team is creaming everything. And then, well, what do we actually get when we get in there? Like, if Warfronts are going to be better, okay, but how? right? Island expeditions are going to be dynamic and amazing. Okay, well, are you just going to make them longer? Because that's part of what I saw, is that we want to make it so you're exploring, you want to do this thing. I mean, I can't help but hear that. I think you're going to drag them out more.
I remember them talking about Island expeditions, about this machine that was just going to automatically gather Azerite for you. And I was like, yeah, that's not it, though. That's not what I'm really looking for.
Well, it's one of the new events.
It's the point.
It's like a horde mode. They didn't really explain it very well. I clarified it at my dev interview. It's like a horde mode where you basically be fighting off waves. So you're, instead of like going around, it's just changing how you do it. So that could be kind of interesting.
Like, see Mike's reaction is my reaction as well. Like,
Mount Hygel.
I mean, that's what I thought of too.
Like, bad Blizzard, stop! No, I need my hand.
I need my hand.
No, enough's enough. We don't want waves. Stop.
Okay. We'll definitely see.
No, but it's going to be interesting for the next. But like what I saw at BlizzCon, what they announced is a lot for the expansion. I've seen some people compare Battle for Azeroth with Warlords and saying that Battle for Azeroth is worse than Warlords. I highly disagree. I haven't heard about a selfie patch yet, and there definitely seems to be content.
I do not disagree.
No, you think Warlords was better?
I do.
Ah, okay.
Mike,
well,
no, you
we'll
don't.
disagree on that one. I don't. I really don't.
Look at this guy. Oh,
I do. I'm not memeing.
No, I know, because you prefer doing it from your garrison rather than having to go outside.
No, I'll tell you why. Like, honestly, if the Outworld is going to be garbage, as they are in generally both expansions, right? At the moment, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think the outside world is not great. The thing I do enjoy is much more obnoxious this time round. And that's why. That's a simple reason. It's Mythic raiding is much more obnoxious now than it was in WoD, and that's the only thing I'm really enjoying. So that's the perspective. I'm not memeing. If you're going to make the Outworld crap, then as long as I can take solace in the thing I do enjoy not being a hassle. And right now, Mythic raiding is a hassle. Like, potions and stuff are still so expensive. It's a real tedium just to do stupid stuff. Azerite farming is really tedious. That stuff is more obnoxious this time around. That's all I'm saying. That's my basis for that.
I guess.
For me, from not a Mythic Raider, just Heroic and Plus. At least I got Mythic Plus to do. I didn't have that in Draenor. At least I got all, and I got Island Expedition thing, which I kind of enjoy doing. So that's better than nothing, I suppose. But then, you know.
Yeah, Mythic Plus is fine, but we also have that. Like, I have fun with Mythic Plus. I do have a bit of fun with it. I don't need to do it a lot because I don't like playing the casino. So if you're not going to push keys to see how far you go, which is a huge commitment in and of itself, then
right.
But I don't want things like doing world quests to be such a fundamental part of what I enjoy, and I don't want to be spending. I think on average, Bay might back me up on this. If you're a Mythic raid right now, it's something like 30 to 40,000 gold worth of consumables a week. It's around there.
See, it's. I mean, every raid's gonna cost a lot of gold to go for. Like consumable potions right now are still ridiculous. That's definitely a thing. But then I always want to like devil's advocate that by saying that it was way more expensive in the past when you would do like double elixir, flask, and food, and even possibly scrolls, and there was no way to really farm any of that the same way you do now.
I'm not giving you that. You can't go back to a first few months of the Burning Crusade and say that was worth. Yes, it was.
Well, no, it's also all of Classic WoW.
It got changed as well.
It's all of Classic WoW.
I mean, we're talking 13 years ago.
Hey!
Yeah, okay, things were worse 13 years ago. That's not relevant. You can't have that. No. I say no. Stop.
No, stop.
Babe. You're getting the glove. That is what I read. Well, actually, back in my day, we had a horse and cart and no roads. So what are you moaning about? That doesn't work. You can't have that as your
argument. There it is. Yeah. So I don't know. It's also a guild effort to farm all that crap. So it doesn't seem that bad when it's the whole guild doing it. And Mike, we don't spend anywhere near as much gold as the World Firsters did. So what do we complain about?
We spent 13 million, I think.
Okay. I mean, Method spent like what? Roger said on my panel like 50 million gold or something actually stupid, like just dumb numbers. It was like a million plus gold per person.
Yeah, it's insane. But even farm is the same. Like we're farming. I mean, I think it's. I mean, I guess I'm also playing the side of I want people to take part in this. It's already like a big commitment, huge amount of wiping. Huge repairs are more expensive now, I think. And then on top of that, you're adding 30,000 of required consumables to
Yeah.
take part in this content. It's like, do you really need to make it this obnoxious to take part? Because these things are supposed to be fun. Let's not forget that. Potioning is supposed to be a fun thing, not something that I'm equating a gold cost to every time I push that button. Well, there's 1,000 gold. There's 1,000 gold.
They mess up on certain things. Like little fixes are that anchor weed should have a chance to drop from any herb you pick. First off. and second off, the requirements on just the consumable crafting, they even like tweak them a little bit, and then you look at the cost, you're like, you didn't really change anything. You just moved an herb here or there or something. I don't know. So yeah, it's always
I'm
gonna
just
be
saying,
a thing.
I prefer it to be less obnoxious. I think these are supposed to be fun things and not things that are like, I'm reading regular reports, people just can't afford to raid anymore. It's just so sad. That shouldn't be a factor. It should not be a factor. You can't. If that was a vanilla problem, you can't afford to play the game. What is that? Buy a token though. Yeah, the human hours for consumables are ridiculous. No, I agree. I definitely agree. Yeah, that's my preference to WoD, because it was go in your mine, go in your little garden. I didn't have to do anything.
Your gold? Did you call it your gold garden?
No, my little mine and my little garden.
Okay,
I'm not saying that's great either. I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's making it obnoxious is not a good way to go about it.
That sucks though.
It is obnoxious.
That's
but it just sucks that you have that feeling when it comes to Battle for Azeroth as well. Like just that Warlords was better than what we have right now. That's taking steps in the wrong direction, especially. And I think that's also a big part why Battle for Azeroth hit so hard, because Legion was so good in so many different ways.
Yeah.
We had the same consumable problems in Legion though. So
at the start, but again, it got fixed later with super cheap prolonged power potions, which were generally better for most people and freed up the markets in the other ways. Like the economy shifted. I was hoping to actually see something to this.
Yeah, we have no vendor yet, because all that expulsum we can use right now, right, guys? Woo!
Yeah, but the professional announcements, I was like, okay, they're going to add something to alleviate this problem, because you don't want to be deterring people from doing your content because it's too expensive to do. That's just stupid. But right now they are. So hopefully that'll switch around. I've seen the new crafting stuff, and I think expulsum's back again. Because we get a new resource in the new raid.
That means we can make more bracers.
No, we can make. Well, Mike, we can.
Yay!
I streamed that, so people understood what was going on in the game. I had to stream it. I was like, look, this is the reality of this system.
Yeah.
Where I scrapped 1,000 pairs of bracers. And the people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm mythic raiding. That's what I'm doing.
When I was working on the biz list, I figured out I needed like crafted pants and stuff. And I too had to get expulsion, and I had the add-on, and I was like, so this is what it feels like.
This is what it feels. And then you roll the wrong stuff and it start again.
Oh,
start again.
Baby.
we get to make the best raid feasts in the next patch with Sanguicel though, which is kind of awkward, but there's a pattern coming for that, so we can use all that nonsense. I have like 700 or 800 on both of my characters. It just sits there. It doesn't do anything. It's such a dead currency. It's so weird. But
you can vendor it, right?
Why would you?
But that's going to be a pain in the nuts, though, when they add a new patch where you can actually use it.
Oh, yeah, you got to save it for now. It's just a weird... It's the same thing with, like, the Emissary Plus caches, basically. The honor system where the rep system where you still got rep afterwards, you got the Emissary cache at the end. They obviously have admitted that was a mistake to not have it at the beginning, but that's because the expansion only had 5 months to cook. Well, in public beta. So...
Let's not talk about it.
I think it's because it's a circular topic, so I think... I wanted to end with the dig because that was funny. Because I didn't want to bring up Diablo Immortal because I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't think it's a big deal.
Are you a Diablo fan?
Not like vehemently. It's going to ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah,
so
I think that's the case. It's like, are you a fan of it or not?
I realize, but
did you ride the hype train, which they started themselves?
See, I can crouch this entire freaking thing. It doesn't matter. I don't want to go into it again. I did this the other day for like an hour and a half. But
well, we did it on Twitter though, man. We tweeted about it. It was great.
No, well, I brought that up to sort of poke the bear on purpose to see what people's reactions were, even though I only got so many responses. So, but it was interesting to see the feedback regardless. But yeah, but do you have a phone? The thing is, that gets put on proportion. The people that were at us, like the community, like us, the players, we were already the ones being negative and toxic first. So when Blizzard does any hint at like a jab back, then they get thrown under the bus for it. It starts with us, okay? Such are the people that were asking the trolley questions first.
No, I'm not going to victim shame this
Starts
one.
with
It was a
them,
bad announcement at the wrong place.
No,
Exactly.
They should have known before they went into
I
it.
agree. 100%
Yeah,
agree.
I am not going to put this on the fans.
No, you're
way.
fine. I 100% agree. But Blizzard, we talked about it earlier, Blizzard Classics with an S is being announced. If you don't think there's a Diablo 2 remaster, Reforged coming, then you're out of your freaking mind. I was hoping for Rock and Roll Racing. Please.
TBC server?
No, Mike.
I would love a TBC server just to see if it was actually as good as you say it is.
Well, I'll take you along for the ride, dude. I've been more than happy to play
yes,
TBC.
baby.
I mean,
Because I remember TBC is just doing my daily route of quest and then logging off. Again, I would.
I don't know
Because
if
apparently it was the shit.
I don't know if Nobbel will be ready for attunements in TBC. That might
Oh, of
break
course.
him.
It's super
Dude,
fun.
I did a 2 months back in Classic. What are you talking about?
And the
That
TBC ones are way better. They're
Yeah.
so much more story driven. They're more interesting. It's good.
yeah. Don't. That's just. Don't.
Oh,
I don't think Noble is ready for this.
No, that's what I'm going with. I'm going with that Nobbel wouldn't think right. No, the TBC attunements were rough.
not for me.
Oh, okay.
Casual.
Casual, totally.
I loved the TBC achievements. I did.
Yeah.
I generally did. Until I had to start
actually
boosting
remember
everybody
that
else.
graph that you made, like the path of progression into rating. I remember the video he did about.
That wasn't mine. I think someone from Vodka made that.
Yeah.
But it's a different time.
There's a lot of little things on the horizon. That's for sure. But I think that's definitely going to be it. We're at like 2 hours. So I'm going to record a little bit more with these guys after this, and I can't keep them all night. So I'm going to hit this button real quick here that starts music playing in the background. But that'll be it. We're going to, that's 173. The rest of 172 might be online by the time you're watching this on YouTube, but it's all my BlizzCon coverage. The Terry and Gregory interview is coming up next. But again, around the table, thank you very much for tuning in today. If you missed any episode, it'll be on YouTube later, and then iTunes and Google Play Music and my website, audio only, that kind of stuff. But this guy right here, get ready for the War 3 Reforged playthrough. There's Nobbel. You can go follow him at Nobbel87, literally everywhere, I think. Is anything
Except
not?
for Facebook, where Facebook is Noble and Noble
Ah,
because
that's
Facebook
right.
doesn't accept Noble87.
You're very right. But thank you very much for your time again on this fourth installment, my friend. Everything you need
54 months, man. 54 months.
Oh, I mean, I've known you longer than that, though. What the hell? When are we gonna copulate and make a PreachCon baby?
What were you talking about again before the stream? What was it called? You wanted to do something to me, and I didn't know what it was called.
No, I'm not gonna. Don't put that in the YouTube. Then we get in trouble. Don't. Come on. Knock that off.
Do you want to get demonetized?
Yeah, do you want to get demonetized? Come on, you guys know more about YouTube than I do right now. And there's Mike, there's Preach. You can go follow him. Mike Preach Wow on the YouTube, and then Preach LFW still. All of his socials are all over the damn place. Preach Gaming on Twitter. You gotta work on that, Mike. Your branding is all over the place.
Yeah.
This is just just kind of defeated. But
I
go
do.
buy
Yeah, we do have the correct ones. Do we switch?
go buy a Forum Man shirt. Where can you buy Forum Man shirts, Mike?
The link to my store on YouTube. It's got gold patches.
I'm trying to let you plug things. You're just like it's got. Gold
I know a
patches.
good sales, but I did sales for like 10 years before I started, and I don't like take people for a ride. If you want it, it's there.
If you like a
Easy.
nice Florida Man t-shirt, then go now to www.preachgaming.com.
That's not a
we
thing.
ain't got the website.
That's not a website. He doesn't have a
We're gonna
website.
make it a website.
I do have the website, but we don't
Oh, you
use it.
do?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
wait. Hold on.
Only I
Really?
can log into it. Mwah.
Oh, what the hell is this?
I do own it. It is mine.
What the heck? I didn't know that. Okay, well, TIL.
There you go.
That's that. Next 4 shows coming up. I'll let you guys know about the state of tanking, healing, range DPS, melee DPS. We'll get more into the nitty-gritty of World of Warcraft BFA stuff. And then, of course, all the spec shows start in 2019. We have Epic WoW Battles of History Season 2 coming up in spring 2019, and the year-end special with Taliesin, Evitel, and Brutal on the 30th of December, I believe. It's the Christmas Eve, or New Year's Eve. Sorry, New Year's Eve on the future there. But thank you for tuning in today. Links down below, wherever, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You know where. It's not your first rodeo. Go follow these guys. Watch their stuff. Just don't watch Preach's stuff about classic WoW. It's just he's incredibly elitist.
Oh, clearly, you know that.
But
Sat
thank you
on
very
my
much.
throne.
Absolutely. But until next week, everyone. Bye. Oh, bye. Wave bye at the nice people. Okay, or make a really weird face. I mean, I'll go with that. That's fine. Nobbel's why? What the hell is that? Oh wait, that's the wrong button. There's the right button.
That's his nutting face.
No,
I mean,
stop! Damn it!